Riverfront Stadium, December 31, 1988, and the Bengals defense shut down the Seahawks 21-13 and advanced in the AFC playoffs. This year, Chuck Knox is trying to avoid his worst season ever as Seattle's head coach. His team is 5-8, but is playing the spoiler role as they did Monday night, upsetting Buffalo 17-16. Sam White's Bengals are still in the hunt as they again go all out for the AFC Central title. Today, the Seahawks and the Bengals ready to rumble in the jungle.
NBC Sports presents the National Football League. Today, it's the Seattle Seahawks versus the Cincinnati Bengals.
Very good playing conditions for mid-December in the Ohio Valley here at Riverfront Stadium, where the Bengals and the Seahawks are ready to tee it up. Good afternoon, everyone. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. Another Sunday, another game the Bengals have to win if they're to get back to the playoffs. Their coach Sam White says we're already in a playoff situation. We've got to win them all. It's going to be interesting, Ahmad, how much use he gets in one of his best players, James Brooks, who's banged up.
That's true, Don, and you hit it right on the head. They've been in a must-win situation the last 3 weeks in a row. But I've talked to James Brooks earlier. He said that even though he has a sore knee, that he still feels that he can play. He's going to wear a knee brace on, but he said he's ready to go. I don't think that Cincinnati has the luxury of not playing him if he's ready to play.
The Seattle Seahawks mathematically are still in the playoff chase. Realistically, their history, they're trying to avoid a losing season, above all be a spoiler. They knocked off Buffalo Monday night. They'd love to do it again today.
Well, one of the tough things about being in this business, when you're out of the playoff picture early, it's very hard to get motivated for a game. But football is a game that you can't play half-heartedly. So their motivation is to knock Cincinnati out of the playoffs. That's what they'll be trying to do today.
The last time they met was in that AFC divisional playoff game. It was a chess match. Joe Nash, number 72 for the Seattle Seahawks, feigned a knee injury on numerous occasions to give the Seahawks a chance to substitute, as Sam White then had his no-huddle offense in full swing. It's going to be interesting to see what they do today, Ahmad, because Sam White is always up to something offensively.
He certainly is. Yeah, that no-huddle thing has really given the teams a lot of problems, and Seattle especially. I mean, last year they had to go to that fake fall down, get up and go up just to try to keep them off the line of scrimmage. But I think this game they're going to do something a little bit different. They're going to keep their defense in the team, in the game, intact, and have number 41, Eugene Robinson, call the defensive signals right on the field, just the way Boomer Esiason does it offensively.
There is Chuck Knox, now in his 7th season as head coach of Seattle, already talking to the officials to remind them anytime that Cincinnati substitutes an offense, we have to have that opportunity. There was even a controversy with the coin toss, apparently. Sam White, he had his Bengals so ready for that big game at Cleveland. They won it 21-0. And as White points out, he said there's a couple of big plays are the difference between the Bengals having Seattle's record and vice versa. So we've made some big plays that have won games, they haven't. But there's very little difference in these two teams. He said they're going to have to play better today to beat Seattle. It's a better team than Cleveland. Bengals have won the toss and will receive to start the game. Norm Johnson to kick off. Stanford Jennings is back deep, along with Kendall Smith. This is Stanford Jennings at the 10-yard line. 30, and he breaks it out to the 32-yard line. So the Bengals open with relatively good field position. Tackle made by Darren Miller of the Seahawks. Boomer Esiason ready to run the offense, having another big year. One of the best blocking offensive lines in the game, led by the consensus All-Pro Anthony Munoz. Eric Ball listed as the starter at running back, and he's coming out to start the game for Stanford Jennings, or for injured James Brooks. Jennings will come out when they go to the 4 wide receiver set. Kendall Smith and Ira Hiller will come in to join McGee, who's had a great season, and Eddie Brown, who'll get the ball a lot today. Esiason looking for Tim McGee. He throws to the outlet man as McGee's covered, and Eric Ball is ahead for a first down. So the Bengals come out pitching it. And Eric Ball, a rookie from UCLA, is ahead for a 14-yard gain. M.L. Johnson was on the stop, an outside backer. As right away, Ahmad, Bengals go into that alignment without a huddle.
That has caused a lot of teams a lot of stress during the course of the week because they play most teams, you know, it's regular. When you get to play Cincinnati, all of a sudden you got to get ready for something different.
Give you a lot of looks. Now on first down of his opening drive, they go to the pitch back to Eric Ball. He is hit hard. Moving up nicely to make the play was defensive end Jeff Bryant, who's had the best season of any of Seattle's down linemen. Green, Nash, and Bryant across the defensive front. Woods, Como, Wyman, who's having a terrific year, and M.L. Johnson back to line. They'll go to a nickel defense with extra people coming in. Every down's really a passing down. You face the Bengals. Rufus Porter has 10 sacks. James Jefferson and Melvin Jenkins will come in as extra DBs to augment these 4 starters. Harper, Hunter, Glasgow, and free safety Eugene Robinson. 2nd and 8. Throwing the flat. Beautifully thrown ball. As the strong left arm of Boomer Esiason is right on target again. Downfield 13 yards for yet another Bengal first down. Tim McGee with that 9-2 speed. You got to respect the deep ball. And when you do that, he breaks it off on you. This is just a nice pattern. And this is what you get when you got that 9-2 speed. The defender has got to play off you. At that point, you take the ball underneath. So now it is first down at the 39-yard line. Bengals on the opening drive. We're early in the first quarter. Lone setback is Stanford Jennings as Eric Ball goes in motion. Runs a pattern. Another hard throw downfield, and this time the strike is right on time. McGee thought he was interfered with. But the official right there said that the cornerback Patrick Hunter, number 27, timed his hit perfectly.
Very good play by Patrick Hunter. Maybe that right hand might have got up there just a little bit early, but that's ticky-tacky at that point. He's right there, gets his hand in there and knocks the ball away. This Cincinnati crowd didn't like that, but I think that was a fine play by Patrick Hunter.
Well, so did the official, so now it's going to be 2nd down and 10 for the Bengals. 39-yard line of the Seahawks. Esiason comes in, having thrown for 20 touchdowns. He's been intercepted just 8 times in 13 games. Stanford Jennings behind the power blocking of Montoya, and Walter on the right side takes the ball inside the 35-yard line for inside backer Darren Como, 53, and strong safety Nesby Glasgow. The leading tackler, Glasgow, 22, on a stop for the Seahawks.
And this is the first time that Cincinnati has gone into their huddle. This is what they call their sugar huddle, where they line up just about 4 or 5 yards away from the ball.
Extra wide receivers now not coming in. We have Ira Hillary and Kendall Smith in. 4 wide receivers set as Esiason sets his team on 3rd down and 4 at the 33. No score. Opening drive. Esiason out pattern, and Ira Hillary comes down with the ball. An excellent play by a 3rd-year receiver from South Carolina. Ira Hillary came in on the wrong side, but he made the correction and made the play for a first down.
Well, it was a fine throw here by Boomer Esiason. He throws the ball where they should get the first down. Ira Hillary has to make the adjustment, catches the ball, falls forward for the first down. It's a nice play by Hillary and by Boomer Esiason to put the ball right where it should have been.
Boomer throwing well early.
3 for 4 for 33 yards.
Bengals on this opening drive after they started from scrimmage at the 32-yard line. Eric Ball, the 215-pound runner from UCLA, takes it down to the 15-yard line. M.L. Johnson and Nesby Glasgow made the stop, but well downfield, a 12-yard gain.
Eric Ball, a young man from UCLA, all he needs is a chance to play, and they see stardom in his future. Now that James Brooks is hurt a little bit, Eric Ball gets a chance to go in there and run. And he not only has power, but he also has speed. You see Eddie Brown coming off the field limping a little bit. It looked like he might have hurt his foot.
Kendall Smith is in, first-year player from Utah State. This is the 8th play of this opening drive. Consumed 4 minutes already. First down and 10 from the 16-yard line. Ball running hard, and he takes it inside to the 8-yard line. A gain of 7 on the run as Jeff Bryant and Darren Como made the stop for the Seahawks. As you know, Ahmad, Sam White's is a great believer of the Paul Brown axiom that the opening drive of the game and the opening drive of the third quarter often determine who's going to win it.
It certainly sets the tone, especially if you can come in there and run the way they've been running. If you watched Eric Ball that last time, you want to talk about some power. He just ran over Jeff Bryan, who weighs 277 pounds.
Got some nice numbers there.
Oh, yeah, 3 carries, 20 yards. He's already caught 1 ball for 14 yards. So he's showing that if JB can't go, I'm ready.
He's really ready, Eric Ball. Stanford Jennings running off tackle, and he gets close to a first down, but he'll be short of it. It was a 2nd down and 4 plays. He got ahead for 3. So 3rd and short yardage. Outside backer Tony Woods, number 57, was on a stop for the Seahawks.
Football being such a physical game, it's so important that you run the ball because it dictates, who's going to be the bully. Now you watch Cincinnati in a quick, they got up to the ball real quick and snapped the ball. They got a free play.
Tim McGee is in for a touchdown if it goes. There's a penalty marker down, and Chuck Knox is out on the field.
The Seattle Seahawks were trying to substitute 4 or 5 plays. Boomer Esiason saw it and immediately snapped the ball, and they got off a play. Chuck Knox has been worried about this all week.
I think we're going to be watching this for a while, Ahmad, on replay. This is going to really be looked at.
I don't know if they gave him enough time. Watch, you see him still coming in.
It's like a fire drill.
It is certainly like a fire drill. You see the Seahawks coming in as Cincinnati is already up on the ball, ready to snap it.
Tim McGee hoping he has his 7th touchdown catch. Bob McElwee, the referee. Well, Coach Knox is pleased with that. Here is the call.
Against the defense for 12 men.
It goes as no play. It'll be 3rd down and 1 again. Sam White's. He's got the whole league talking about his no-huddle offense and ways to defend against it. But basically what the league has arrived at is that at any play that Cincinnati makes an offensive substitution, the defense has to have the opportunity to make defensive substitutions.
And what Cincinnati is saying that we were there, we were waiting for them. We don't have to wait all day. What amount of time do you have to give the other team to match up? That's the problem here. Is there a time limit you have to give them to match up? Cincinnati was set on the ball, ready to go. Seattle was still sending people in, and they just snapped the ball and went.
4 wide receiver set. Bengals often like to run out of this set on short yardage. Jennings is the running back. And he gets the ball, and he is ahead for what appears to be the first down. Well, we'll see with the spot. The linesman's coming in. And the spot didn't look too good for the Bengals where the linesman came in. He came in on the Bengals side of the 5-yard line. They had to get to the 5.
One of the things that Chuck Knox is talking about in this hurry-up offense is that when they do that, it's a warning. He says it should be a penalty right then. There's no other infraction in football where they give you a warning. They either throw a flag or there's no flag. 4th down inches, and you see Cincinnati, they're going to go for it. If you're headed for the playoffs and try to make it to the Super Bowl, you got to go for 4th and inches.
We'll probably go to Craig Taylor off tackle. Craig Taylor off tackle, and he didn't get there. 4th down, and the Seahawks hold. So they go to Craig Taylor, the first-year power back from West Virginia, and David Wyman, number 92, was the first to hit, along with Jacob Green, 79. So the Bengals' opening drive gets close, but the Seahawks stop it. 8:35 to play in the first quarter, and the Seahawks go on offense for the first time when we come back.
Boy, you can't coach this any better right here. Watch Melvin Jenkins, 24, and David Wyman, number 92, make this stop. That is form tackling right there. Got the shoulder in there, wrapped those arms, picking him up, driving him back. An excellent play by the Seattle Seahawks that bend, but they didn't break on that drive.
We've had controversy early, though. A touchdown by the Bengals negated when it was ruled. Seattle didn't have time to substitute, and the play was called over. Then 2 tries to get a yard on 3rd and 4th down failed. Handoff, Kurt Warner going wide, and the Seahawks rip him down for a loss. Back at the 3-yard line. Bengals get knock him down with Barney Bussey leading the tacklers. Number 27 for Cincinnati. Seahawk blockers never got out in front. Bengals just stripped the blocking. There's the offensive front. It has not had a great year. They've not run the ball well, and they've allowed 40 sacks this season. Greg was benched for 2 games, played very well Monday night. Extra wide receivers come in the people of Clark and Scansey to join Blades and Largent. 2nd down and 13 for the Seahawks at their 3-yard line. And again, Cincinnati shuts down the run. John L. Williams lost the ball. They're going to rule he's down. No gain. It'll be 3rd and long, 3rd and 13.
The Seattle Seahawks, trying to get their running attack going, are playing Andy Heck, number 66, at left tight end. They're trying to get some kind of a push up there in that offensive front line, so they brought in Andy Heck, who was a tight end at Notre Dame, and now they got him back playing down here, trying to make something happen up front.
He did start at Notre Dame his first couple of years as a tight end, then went to offensive tackle. The tackle there was made by David Fulcher, the strong safety. 3rd down and about 11 with the ball is spotted. Right from his end zone. That's a rip, and he makes a connection. It'll be short of the 1st down to Steve Largent, his 21st catch of the season. Of course, he's on the cusp of one of the great records in the game. He and Don Hudson tied with 99 touchdown receptions career. 1 more for Largent, and he has 3 more games to play as a Seahawk. He'll retire at the end of the season, and he sets the record, the new one. 6 minutes and 30 seconds to play in the 1st quarter. And Ruben Rodriguez drops into his end zone to punt. There's Kendall Smith. The rookie will run it back for the Cincinnati Bengals. No score on the board. Bengals drove down close but couldn't convert a 4th down try from a foot away. Short punt. Smith comes up on it from the 48 of Seattle. He's to the 45, and that's where it'll stop. Reaching under to make the play. Rufus Porter was down. So was Darren Como and David Wyman. A 34-yard punt, a 3-yard return. Esiason set to go on offense again.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Budweiser. Beechwood Age for that clean, crisp taste. This Bud's for you. By Black & Decker. Quality tools that go at the top of everyone's gift list. And by Honda, who invite you to test drive the new Accord. You have to drive it to believe it.
With Ahmad Rashad, this is Don Criqui back at Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. Very good playing conditions for mid-December. Temperature is 30. Wind's not a factor. There was a light snow for just a few moments. But the field is clear. And the Bengals are ready to go in the scoreless 1st quarter for a 2nd time. 1st down and 10. Eddie Brown in motion as Boomer Esiason goes over the middle and connects with his tight end, Rodney Holman, who has the most catches of any tight end in the American Conference, 42, and the most touchdown receptions of any tight end in the NFL, 7. That was good for a 15-yard gain. Wyman on the tackle.
Rodney Holman is one of those guys that is just an expert at finding those weak, loose spots in the defensive secondary. Just goes out there and sets down an easy target.
And Esiason looks at him right away. A lot of tight ends, particularly at Seattle, don't get looked at much. They don't go to their tight end often. Holman, a major part of the pass offense, as Esiason floats one in the flat, and Eddie Brown comes down with the ball at the 20-yard line. A 1st down reception, good for almost 10 yards. He'll be just short of a 1st down. Browns had some problems with drops in recent games.
It's just a play where Holman and Brown trade places, and Boomer a little upset he didn't throw that ball just a little bit sooner. Give his receiver a chance to turn it up the field a little bit and pick up that 1st down. He's 5 for 6 for 57 yards, Boomer is.
Game clock shows 5:24 to play. It's the first meeting since the Bengals and the Seahawks met here December 31, 1988. An AFC divisional playoff game. The Bengals jumped out to a 21-0 lead at the half. Seahawks rallied in the 4th quarter with 13 points, but the Bengals won the game. Play fake. Out pattern with the ball in the end zone. Touchdown to Tim McGee. What a play fake by Esiason. He faked to Stanford Jennings. The linebacker's throw, so did the corner, and then a perfectly thrown ball to Tim McGee, who's having an extraordinary season. That was his 7th touchdown catch, as Esiason has been almost perfect putting it up, Ahmad.
Boomer Esiason, he makes this play happen. It's just he almost freezes everybody on the defense with those fakes. It's almost a forgotten arc. There's McGee, 9'2" man who catches a nice ball. But watch Boomer Esiason here. Everybody thinks that Jennings has the ball. Boomer creates a situation where he has a lot of time to throw the ball because everybody's trying to tackle Jennings. He just raises up and fires it to McGee.
And Jim Breach hits the extra point. And with 5:18 to play in the first quarter here at Cincinnati, the first points are up as Tim McGee's in the end zone and it's 7-0 Cincinnati.
Like I tell you, that 9'2" speed makes the cornerback turn his back anytime you get 12 yards down the field. At that point, McGee just makes a left turn, and Boomer puts the ball right on him.
3 throws, 15 to Holman, 9 to Brown, 21 to McGee, and the Bengals are on the board. Bengal pass offense makes it happen fast. They just went 3 plays, 45 yards in 48 seconds. They get the first points of the game up. A 21-yard touchdown throw. Boomer Esiason to Tim McGee. Elroy Harris and David Hollis back now to run the kickoff back for the Seahawks. This is Elroy Harris, a rookie from Eastern Kentucky, and he's busted ahead out to the 26-yard line. And Dave Craig and the Seattle offense come back out. Robert Jackson was on the stop for the Bengals.
Boomer Esiason, Nesby Glasgow, the safety, told me that Boomer is so dangerous because you never know where the ball is. And if you start coming up and try to make that tackle on that running back he faked it to, then he pulls the ball out and throws a pass. Now, if you wait, he hands the ball off. This is almost a lost art, and I think between Joe Montana and Boomer Esiason, they do it better than anybody I've seen.
That was about as well as drawn up and executed as a play can go. 5:08 to play first quarter. Here is Craig. Pump faking, looking downfield, and he gets an open man. And he goes to his tight end, who doesn't get it often, Travis McNeil. McNeil caught a 48-yarder against Buffalo, and that was the longest pass reception by a Seattle tight end in the history of the franchise. Vikings up on Atlanta. Bears in a Butler field goal up on Detroit. Houston leads Tampa Bay on a Zendejas field goal. Worley ran 35 yards for the Steeler touchdown, and the New Orleans Saints jumping on Buffalo, a team that may go from a divisional leader to out of the playoffs in short order. John Forcade starting at quarterback. San Diego up on Washington. On 1st and 10, play fake by Craig. He's looking downfield, and he makes the connection to Largent. He takes the ball at the 45-yard line. Gain of about 7 yards on the play. Largent in his 14th year. Players start up after the tackle as the tackle on the play was made by Reggie Williams, number 57. One of the leaders of the Bengal team, sets the tone. A longtime veteran, 14th year. He showed up at a Cleveland game in a tuxedo.
Also one of the leaders in the Cincinnati community, a councilman.
That's right.
You see him coming up and making that. There's a couple of old fellas right there. Williams and Largent. Two
That's
guys
right.
are a little long in the tooth.
It's the last year for both. They've had great careers. On 2nd and short, the Seahawks go to the run, and Kurt Warner takes it ahead for what appears to be first down yardage. He needed 2, and he got 3. Bengals defensively had perhaps their best effort against the Browns last week. McClellan still in for injured Jim Scow at left end. Frumrye back to full speed at nose tackle. Played 70 plays against the Browns. Jason Buck, the other outside pass rusher. Extra people come in. Tua Tagovailoa, Barney Bussey, and Richard Terry in the nickel defense. Phillips and Thomas, 2 good corners. Thomas particularly, although some think he talks too much before a game. He tends to enliven the opposition. John L. Williams turning upfield, running hard, and Big John has a first down and more as he gets down to the 32-yard line.
Now that's the John L. Williams that the Seattle Seahawks love. He turned that corner and put that head down and started running over a few people. He hurt his ankle last week, and during the course of the game, he hurt his ribs. So I said, "How's your ankle?" He said, "Well, I can't tell how my ankle is because my ribs hurt too much."
Fulcher finally gets him. David Fulcher with a 17-yard gain on the play. Of course, it was John L. Williams who had that fourth quarter 51-yard touchdown reception that beat the Bills 17-16 at the Kingdome. Big John is not having a great year. He had one every other year he's been with the team. Gregg on the out pattern throws to Williams. And on a first down play, he is inside the 30-yard line and down to the 25. Leon White, number 51, made the play at outside linebacker for the Bengals.
Well, Johnny Williams missed a lot of training camp and just never got started the way he has the last few years. He really got nicked. Just when he'd start playing well, he'd get a little nick. And then just when he'd get well, he'd get another nick. And it's just been one of those years for Johnny Williams. But he's so important to this Seattle offense.
For MVP a year ago, a reminder to our viewers that we'll be selecting the Budweiser Most Valuable Player for today's game at the conclusion of the game. Second down and 3 for the Seattle Seahawks, who trail late in the first quarter 7-0. Gregg's perfect throwing the ball, 4 for 4. Control passing gain just 35 yards. Warner tries to turn upfield. He needed 3. He got 1 or 2. Jason Buck, an undersized but very strong defensive end, number 99, made the stop, along with Crumry, 69.
It's amazing to watch Tim Crumry. Here you see him right in the center, number 69. Now he's still pursuing. Now when Kurt Warner cuts back, watch number 69 come back into your picture. We watched him play the first week of the season. He was limping around quite a bit, but that limp has gone. I think he's close to being back where he was.
7th play of the Seattle drive coming up here now, Mott, as they go into the shotgun. 1:43 left to play first quarter. Third down. The Seahawks need 2. Downfield throw and good coverage on Brian Blades. Richard Terry, the nickelback, 34, completely screened the receiver away from the ball. And now the field goal kicker comes out, Norm Johnson. He's been a first-team All-Pro kicker, but not this year. He's missed 6 of his last 9 field goal attempts.
You can't cover this any better right here, as Richard Carey is all over Brian Blades. There's no way he can make that catch. And Carey jumping up saying he was interfered with.
Seattle is 26th in the NFL in scoring, 28th and last in net yards. The offense hasn't been there. Defense has been generally good, rates 10th, but has not forced the turnovers that are historically part of Seattle's efforts. Johnson spins up a field goal try, and he doesn't make it again. He's now 3 for his last 10. So the Seahawks, with an impressive drive, come away with nothing at all. With 1:28 to play in the first quarter, it remains Cincinnati 7, Seattle nothing.
This is one of the tough parts about playing outside. When you play the wind and hope that the ball's going to blow right inside that upright, just doesn't make it. Misses it by just a foot, which is almost like missing it by a mile. You don't get any points for it.
Good, though, by the way, he kicked it in that little circle. He might have been aiming for that. First down and 10 for Esiason and the Bengals. The number 1 offense in the NFL a year ago. Still grades out near the top, and it's really come out in recent weeks. Handoff and straight ahead carry by Eric Ball is knocked down by Joe Nash. Nose tackle for the Seahawks. Again, look at the 10-minute ticker.
New Orleans 13-zip over Buffalo.
San Diego over Washington. Who'd ever have thunk it?
Yeah, they hand that ball off the butts.
55 seconds to go. First quarter. It is second down and 8 as Esiason takes a deep look. They sure give him time. He knows what to do with it. Now he takes off. One of the best runners in the NFL. Boomer is out to the 39-yard line. He'll only run when he has to, but he averages almost 6 yards a running attempt. One of the best in the league. 14-yard gain on that play.
And Boomer is 6'5", 215 pounds, and you know, once he gets started running, get moving forward, he's a pretty good runner. He should Boomer getting a lot of time to throw the ball. Can't find anybody open. He just takes off down the field.
Temperature, as we mentioned earlier, about 30 degrees. Wind not a factor at this point. Playing conditions very good. This time, Boomer is caught and dropped at the 31-yard line. Joe Nash and Jeff Bryant get that bull rush right up the middle, and finally the pass blocking breaks down and they make the sack. with 5 seconds to play in the first quarter, and the Bengals in the lead, 7-0.
Well, they had so many shifts before this play started, but now Boomer looking downfield trying to find somebody, feels the pressure, and Joe Nash comes up with a sack.
And that'll do it for the first 15 minutes of play. The Bengals on their second possession take it in from 45 yards out in 3 plays. A year ago, Ickey Woods was one of the best in the NFL rushing the ball, but this year, as you know, a knee injury has knocked him out for the season, suffered early against the Steelers. Right now, as we set to start the second quarter, it's 7-0. Cincinnati's pass offense is out looking sharp.
They really are looking sharp, and I figure that if they can just keep the pressure on Seattle, they think Seattle will fold because they don't have a reason to play. I'm sure that's what Cincinnati's feelings are, but Seattle, they came in here and said, we are going to put a stop to Cincinnati's train, and that's what they're trying to do.
Yeah, they'll be in it existent. So many things would have to happen, you could never go into it.
You won't see a Chuck Knox team quit. That just won't happen. He will not allow that. So the Seahawks playing for the pride factor, and that's a big deal to any professional athlete.
Ira Hillary with a drop after a great reception earlier in the game for 9 yards and a first down.
David Howells, number 25, may be responsible for that drop because he was waiting for him to catch it so he could level it. As you look at Chuck Knox there, and he's suffering a strange year of football for Chuck Knox.
Down and 18 as Iverson stands in. Look at that throw to Tim McGee for a first down to the 46-yard line.
It is a beauty to watch Boomer Esiason work the pocket. A 24-yard game. Watch Boomer Esiason feel the pressure from the outside and just step right up. He's still looking downfield and fires this ball through about 3 people to Tim McGee, who makes the tough catch. Great catch there, possession catch. You want to jump up and catch it with everything you can. Tim McGee quickly becoming one of the better receivers in the National Football League.
The former #1 draft choice, Joe Vitt, the secondary coach in Seattle, said that 5 times out of 6 that Cincinnati throws on first down, they throw to Tim McGee. They're going to load up trying to defend against him. He's too fast. Here's another out pattern. This time it's to Ira Hillary, and he's down to the 35-yard line on a first down play. Another big gain for 11 yards and a first down. Patrick Hunter was on the tackle for the Seahawks, but 11 yards downfield.
When you have that speed by Tim McGee that can take that defensive secondary deep, then you bring a guy underneath like Ira Hillary. That makes all those underneath patterns work when you got that speed to stretch the defense on top.
Hillary, 89, going into formation now. Bengals set their offense with 4 wide receivers and 1 runner, Stanford Jennings. First and 10. Bengals lead the game 7-0. Esiason trying to count the house again, and he throws and completes to Eddie Brown. He catches the ball, and he's not done as he gets down to the 22-yard line. First down, Cincinnati. Another first down throw, this one good for 12 yards.
Cincinnati just being relentless. They're right back up on the ball again. Eddie Brown, he's due to have a big game, and this is what he does so well, is run with the ball after the catch. Nice little move right there. Now Eddie goes to work. He said he needs some more catches. They need to throw him the ball a little bit more, because he said he wants to get in that end zone.
I think we said earlier, I think he's going to get a lot more looks today because of the double and triple coverage on McGee. Another throw, another catch. This time it's Kendall Smith down to the 15-yard line on a first down play. A gain good for almost 8 yards. Darren Como, a linebacker, 53, made the stop for the Seahawks.
It's so hard for any defense to try to double up on any one of these receivers because Boomer spreads this ball around. He's thrown the ball to McGee. He's thrown it to Brown, to Ira Hillary. He finds somebody who's going to be open. It's almost like a crapshoot to try to figure out which one of the guys you're going to double because Boomer will find a single coverage. Kendall Smith, number 83, also in there.
Before the game, Sam White told me that he's never seen anybody want to win as bad as Boomer Esiason does now. He said he is really the firebrand of this team. Right now, he has the Bengals on the move as they go to the run, and this is Stanford Jennings weaving his way behind some powerful offensive blocking On a 2nd down and 3 play, he thunders ahead and gets the first down. Joe Nash on the tackle. White's playbook is thumbs up. It's all working right. We look again at the scoreboard. Nothing happening in the big game at Green Bay. Houston with a 7-point lead over Tampa Bay. Steelers continue to lead the Jets. In New Orleans in a surprise up on Buffalo. San Diego in a surprise up on Washington. Buddy the Bounty Hunter has his Eagles going against the Cowboys today at Philadelphia. Eagles playing with a heavy heart. One of their assistant coaches died yesterday. Doug Scoville, 62 years old, of a heart attack. Ziason, quick out. Ooh, he had the open man and Ira Hillary, but it came into the wrong side. It was almost 6. The crossing patterns of this Cincinnati team seemed to confuse at one time or another every defense they played.
They really did, and it's almost a little kind of a pick action in there. And the ball, I know Boomer is feeling rather badly on that one because he threw it a little bit low and to the wrong side. He knew he had one right there. You play a lot of football to get an open receiver like that, you want to hit him. Great drive by Boomer Esiason, and of course you saw there the 11th play.
2nd down and 7 coming up. 2nd and goal from the 7. Another throw, and this time incomplete in the end zone. Eddie Brown signaling that he was interfered with by cornerback Dwayne Harper. Some linemen go into a tag team match after the play. Coach White not pleased.
This happens a lot about this time in the season. Players get a little bit upset.
Seahawks indicating the call is going to go against Cincinnati.
Sam White. Now that means Panther, I think, when he puts his hand up like that. What play the Panther is, I don't know. I just know what the signal is.
2 tight ends are in the game now. 2 wide receivers. 1 running back. It is 3rd and goal from the 7. After Holman, he's staying the pass block. Boomer rolling out. Fires. Throws. It is incomplete at the back of the end zone to Tim McGee.
Boomer Esiason showing you his mobility. He had a little bit of pressure, and he used his speed to get a little bit more room, and he's looking for Tim McGee the entire time. He just tries to drill it in here. He drilled it right by Tim McGee.
So Jim Breach is on the field now to try a field goal. He is 9 of 11 this year. Not a long-range kicker, very effective in close. He's 0 for 1 outside the 40. Always tried, just 1. This will be a 24-yard attempt by Jim Breach. Bengals looking to extend their lead to 10-0, and they do. With 10:37 to play in the first half. Referee Bob McElwee signaling good. He was right down the middle. Breach will be kicking it off for the Bengals when we come back. Headlines today on NFL Live. Bobby Betther reporting that Bo Jackson is probably not going to play football after this season, particularly with the Kansas City Royals set to offer him a lifetime contract. Bernie Kosar, in the opinion of Merlin Olsen, is unable to straighten his throwing arm. He certainly has not been throwing with his old gusto, has Bernie. And Jerry Glanville, the Oilers coach, says that he doesn't have job security, even though his team is in first place. His owner has long been enamored with Jackie Sherrill, formerly of Texas A&M. Bearded Bengal looks on. More scores and the highlights coming up with NFL Live at halftime as Elroy Harris runs it back now for Seattle. Takes it right up the middle. A straight up runner, and a penalty marker goes down as the tackle is made on the play by Solomon Wilcox, number 41. 10:26 to play in the first half, and the Bengals in the lead 10-0. Marker down. At halftime today on NFL Live, the NBC analysts will be making their Super Bowl predictions. Who will get to New Orleans on that January 28th day when the game will be played? Now we won't ask you to reveal early who you're picking. You're going with chalk.
You might as well ask me now. I change my mind every time somebody asks me. They told me to do this last Thursday. I think I've changed my mind about 8 times.
Number 52 on the return, half the distance, first down.
An illegal block by M.L. Johnson on the return sets the Seahawks back.
This is one of the things that have really plagued the Seahawks, starting off in bad field position. I mean, the running game hasn't been going well. The special teams used to be a highlight of their football team. You see M.L. Johnson there. But now the special teams is not what they used to be. It's really hurting them.
Kicking game's been off. Coverage kicks has been off. And above all, they have not forced turnovers on defense. Now the Seahawks go on offense. First down and 10. Craig, out pattern, makes the connection to John L. Williams. And good open field tackling by Eric Thomas, number 22, a third-year cornerback from Tulane. One of the best one-on-one coverers in the league. He made the stop.
See, Craig, looking downfield, he knows he always has an outlet man right over here in John L. Williams. John L. Williams with a fine set of hands. Gets by and just gets pulled down on that ankle.
Reggie Williams got some heat on the quarterback with a pass rush from the outside backer position. David Craig this year has thrown 16 touchdown passes. He has been intercepted 18 times. There's a 69 quarterback rating. He's been sacked 31 times. He stands in, again goes to the outlet man against big pressure from the Cincinnati front. McClendon, 72, had heat on him. So did Jason Buck, number 99, as Craig, who likes to throw quickly, is forced to throw even more quickly than he'd like.
There's Tim Krummeyer. We'll get an isolate here on him. Now, he started the year with his leg all beat up, but you can see he's still putting pressure up that middle. And still turning around and running for. That was his big thing. He was such great at pursuing the ball, no matter where it was. Most nose tackles play within a 5-10 yard area, but Krummeyer plays from sideline to sideline.
He'd run him down. He's getting back into that form. 3rd and 6. If the Seahawks don't convert, they're going to have a problem when they'll punt to the Bengals, and Cincinnati have good field position again. Another throw and a catch. Coming across the middle of the field is Brian Blades to the 17-yard line, but he's a couple of yards short of where he needed to be. So the Bengal defense sends the Seahawks offense off. 3 downs and out. Blades' first catch of the game is short of first down yardage.
Anytime you run a pattern, you got to run it deep enough to get the first down. Otherwise, it's almost worthless to catch it.
Craig under pressure. Williams, 57. Cincinnati D pitched a shutout at Cleveland last week for the first time since 1980. Cincinnati's had a shutout. First time the Browns have been shut out at home since 1977. Punt downfield. Kendall Smith, living dangerously, catches it and then is swept back by a wave of Seahawk punt coverers, led by 91 Darren Miller. But the Bengals get back the ball again, starting in good field position with a 10-0 lead.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Today's Truck, Chevrolet. Nobody's winning like the heartbeat of America. By Norelco Lift and Cut Shavers. We make clothes comfortable. And by Busch Beer, the beer with a taste as smooth as its name.
The Bengals are dancing. There's reason to salute the Bengals today as they're playing well again. Up 10-0, and they're ready to go on offense with very good field position in that time after time.
And Boomer Esiason has been throwing the ball extremely well. He appears to be holding it up a little bit higher on his release. Got a lot of steam on it.
Eric Ball, a big, tough runner, takes it inside the 50, and on a first down carry, he's ahead for 5. Scoreboard's changing on this 14th Sunday of play. The stretch run has begun to the playoffs. Kansas City has taken a 7-0 lead on the Packers at Green Bay. Atlanta has rallied to tie the Vikings. And Detroit has now gone in front of Chicago. Houston by 10. Buffalo scored in a 41-yard pass from Kelly to Lofton, but the extra point was missed. 8 minutes and 20 seconds to play in the first half here at Riverfront Stadium. The Bengals, led by their big, rangy quarterback, Boomer Esiason, who made some noise this week about wanting to play baseball for the Reds.
Well, I'm sure he's been reading the paper about those baseball salaries.
He was a tremendous high school pitcher.
I'd like to play baseball for anybody as much money as they're paying those guys.
I think he was unbeaten his senior year.
But there's a reason he's playing football, though, Don.
Yeah.
After that senior year, they must have tagged him a little bit.
Got under that letter high fastball. Finally got his curveball straightened out. Here's Eric Ball. He loses the football, and Seattle has it. Nesby Glasgow is on the ball as the fumble is by Eric Ball. Number 42. So this Bengal drive ends abruptly, and the Seahawks take it over.
He just got caught up in a lot of traffic, and that ball popped out of there. Now, this is the type of... Watch Eric Ball. He's in a little bit of traffic. It's just loose, pops out of there, and Nesby Glasgow is right on top of it. Now, this is the thing that Seattle defense used to do so well. They used to create these turnovers. Eric Ball. David Wyman. What's number 72?
Like
Joe Nance. Looked like he got his hand in there and popped that ball out.
Seahawks trailing 10-0. Go first and 10. Pitch back goes to John L. Williams. Looks for room, darts ahead, got maybe 3 or 4. Out to the 35-yard line. Where 58 Joe Kelly, an inside linebacker from the University of Washington, and Ricky Dixon, the free safety, were on the stop.
Williams with that bad ankle, wasn't able to practice much during the course of the week, but showing right there with that cutback run, and his ankle's not bothering him much. I asked him about his ribs. I said, what about your ribs? He said, yep, my ribs hurt.
And they're running back, they're going to hurt more because that's what they take a pounding in that midsection. Even when they're just blocking. Here's a downfield throw to Brian Blades, who bends back at the ball and makes a terrific catch for a first down for Seattle. David Craig with a timing pattern, and Blades comes back at it.
They've spent a lot of time on this play. Blades is breaking. The ball was thrown way before Blades breaks. Now watch Craig fire it out there. Now Blades just makes the turn, comes back, makes a fine reception. More time on Benny Blades. Stretches out, makes that grab. Brian Blades.
Brothers playing well for Detroit. Yesterday at practice, Gary Wright said to Craig, come on over here, the announcers want to pick your brains. I said, we'd rather pick your pocket. Pro Bowl quarterbacks make some nice money. Here's Kurt Warner running the ball on first down to the 50-yard line. The Seahawks, a divisional champion last year, won't make the playoff this season, but they plan to have a say in who does. The playoff picture at the start of this day showed Buffalo leader in the AFC East with an 8-5 record, but the Bills are losing New Orleans today. Houston 8-5 is leading by 10 over Tampa Bay today, leader in the Central, the Oilers. Denver's got it 1 in the AFC West. If the season were over after 13 weeks, the Browns and the Raiders would be the 2 wild card teams. But as we know, it goes 16 weeks, and a lot's going to happen. The Bengals plan to win their way, and they have a very good divisional record. They're 4-1 in the division now, the Bengals. Dave Craig dropping on second down and 6. Ball is off the shoulder pad of Kurt Warner.
Ricky Dixon just exploded through Kurt Warner, and I mean, he had a running start at him.
He is a hitting sooner, this Ricky Dixon, the #1 draft choice 2 years ago out of Oklahoma. And a marker's also down at the line of scrimmage. It looks like a call's going to go against Seattle.
Illegal use of the hands to the face. Number 75, offense.
Mike Wilson, the right tackle, a former Bengal, had hands to the face.
You see, Mike Wilson, number 75, comes up right to the left of your screen. And I guess that's a little bit after the infraction, but there definitely was one, therefore the flag.
Yeah, Wilson's raising some little tackles. He's got a couple of sons. One of his 9 weighs about 120 pounds.
He certainly does.
And he can run around. That kid looks like that. And so does his brother.
Before the game, Mike Wilson was out here with just the T-shirt on.
Raising some tackles back there in Washington. Second down and 16. Out pattern. Steve Largent. So again, he's right where he had to be. As he gets, it's unbelievable. He's right where he needed to go for the first down. They give the spot. Looks like he's going to have it. Ricky Dixon ran him out of bounds.
There's a timing pattern here. Another one of those. David Craig throws the ball before Largent turns around, and he's trying to get forward to try to get close to that first down.
Almost got some extra yards from Fulcher.
Yeah. You got to know where Fulcher is at all times. That's called being a very smart receiver.
It was actually a long yardage play, so they still have to make up some yards on third down with 5:16 to play in the second quarter. Craig double calling signals as the fans start up here in what's called the jungle. It's Craig. Finally throws it away, and the marker comes down. A very expensive penalty. That'll be intentional grounding. And as you know, that results in loss of down. Craig's trying to say, hey, my tackle wasn't a receiver anywhere near there. Larson protesting.
They protested a little bit too much.
They'll have to punt.
Largent still trying to get in an extra word there. And you'll see Craig get under a little bit of pressure here. Now he starts to run forward. Watch him turn around and just fire this ball over there. There's nobody over there. Once again, Craig's just getting rid of the ball just before Jason Buck. Carousing.
So Ruben Rodriguez, who hasn't hit the ball very well in the cold weather here at Cincinnati, gets a low snap. That's been a problem, too. Gets the ball away nicely, forcing a fair catch by Kendall Smith. And the ball's at the 33-yard line. With 5:03 to play in the first half, it remains the Bengals 10 and the Seahawks nothing. Benzu, the Bengal Tiger, nervously pacing his cage.
Every time my 3-year-old sees that tiger, she thinks it's Tigger from Winnie the Pooh.
You don't want to scratch that little kitty under the chin. NFL Live today will be coming up at halftime, and next Saturday in a special edition, O.J. and Bob Costas will be getting set for a big Sunday of play, a Saturday of play to start it off when the Phoenix Cardinals host the Denver Broncos. Eugene Robinson making the play on Stanford Jennings. A lot of action next Sunday on NBC Sports as we go to weekend 15 of the season. 3 to go, counting today, and a lot of playoff spots wide open.
Cincinnati yet to punt. They don't have any penalties. They're doing everything right offensively.
Leading the game 10-0. Now they go to the run, and they give the ball to the rookie from West Virginia, Craig Taylor. He takes it across the 45-yard line out to the 47. Seahawks fighting hard, trying to free that ball. Kansas City holds to its 7-0 lead over the Packers at Green Bay. Detroit was a surprise. I think Mike Ditka was right a few weeks ago. The Bears did fold their 10 early. New Orleans extends its lead to 10 points over the Bills at Buffalo in the second quarter. Philadelphia up on Dallas 14-0. Is sacked. He had a wide open Tim McGee running beyond the cornerback. But Patrick Hunter coming on a cornerback blitz along with Tony Woods got to Esiason before he could release.
Boy, if Boomer would have had some time to get rid of this ball, he, like you said, Don, he had a wide open man, Tim McGee, streaking down the middle of the field.
McGee had about 3 steps on Patrick Hunter and Dwayne Harper. Patrick Hunter, the other corner, though, coming out of blitz, got to the quarterback. Now it's second down and 15. Esiason lobs the ball. Good coverage again by the Seahawks. Kendall Smith was the receiver. James Jefferson, who played in Canada, hiding his hit just as the ball comes in. Incomplete pass. It brings up third down and 15 for Cincinnati.
And James Jefferson right on top of this play. Just as that ball gets in there, he makes a very nice tackle, strips the ball away, and says hello to the receiver on his way back to the huddle.
So the Bengals in a relatively comfortable position. 10-0 lead, and Seattle has not threatened on offense yet. Now now go to extra wide receivers. 4 wide outs as Esiason throws on 3rd down. It comes in low, intended for Eddie Brown. Just as you mentioned, they'd not punted. They'll have to now with 3:19 to go in the first half.
Very good coverage by number 29, Dwayne Harper, on Eddie Brown that time. Boomer Esiason, who started off extremely hot, has gotten a little bit cold. He's had 5 incompletions in a row. But that can happen sometimes to this offense. And next thing you know, they hit about 7 or 8 in a row, and you're in trouble.
Lee Johnson is the punter. He stands and hits it at his 30-yard line. Hits it very high. Well done. David Hollis takes the ball for Seattle, crosses the 30, and weaves out to the 35-yard line. Then a marker comes in after the tackle. Robert Jackson again on special teams coverage made the first hit for the Bengals. Illegal use of hands against Seattle. Next weekend there's plenty of NFL football action on NBC Sports. Join us on Saturday for a special edition beginning with NFL Live at 3:30 Eastern Time. Then the AFC's Western Division champions, the Denver Broncos, go into the Valley of the Sun to take on the Phoenix Cardinals. Sunday, it's a football doubleheader. In Game 1, many of you will see the Houston Oilers face the Bengals right here in the jungle. In the second half of the doubleheader, most of you will see the Buffalo Bills battle the defending Super Bowl champion San Francisco 49ers at Candlestick. Check your local listings for the games in your area.
You know, at halftime, they had all the analysts pick their Super Bowl teams. A lot of them picked the San Francisco 49ers. Bob Trumpy said that anybody could have coached the 49ers last year and they'd have won. Of course, it was a little dig at Bill Walsh.
They used to coach Trumpy here in Cincinnati. Craig, timing pattern, beautiful coverage by Fulcher, who had a very big interception. You may recall it. You saw last week's game against the Browns against Cleveland. Fulcher, 240 pounds, can really run. Lewis Clark, the intended receiver.
And you see just a great break on the ball by David Fulcher. He studies these offensive plays, so he knows where this ball's about to go. Last week I called him one of the world's largest safeties. He's also one of the world's best safeties in the business. He's having a great year. 91 tackles, 5 interceptions. He's playing as well as any safety in the game. Definitely a Pro Bowler.
Yeah, he was in the Pro Bowl last January and is probably heading back.
He certainly should go back this year.
3rd-round draft choice out of Arizona State. It's 2nd down and 10 now for Dave Craig and the Seahawks. That's to go long, and that's not going to be near anybody except Ricky Dixon, who intercepted out of bounds. Craig hasn't had time to throw. All of a sudden, what was not a strong suit of the Bengals, the pass rush has really come alive in the recent weeks. They're really getting pushed on the quarterback.
I think what it is this team, people have to realize that this team was 34 seconds away from being world champions last year, and they know what it takes to win at this time during the season, and they've turned their entire game up 2 or 3 notches.
And like I said, our playoff season has begun. We've got to win every week. They come into this game with a 7-6 record, a huge game next week. The Oilers come into Cincinnati, the divisional leaders. Markers are down at the snap of the ball as Dave Craig dumps it off to John L. Williams, who loses the handle, picks it up. This looks like a trick play. This won't make the highlight reel, but it is interesting as John L. Williams ends up losing a lot of yards. But there is also, as mentioned, a penalty marker down at the snap of the ball.
It looked like Natu Tagovailoa. I've been waiting 3 games to say Tua Tagovailoa. Looked like he was a little bit early on the snap count.
Bengal offside is the signal from referee McElwee.
Defensive tackle. 5 yards, 3rd down.
There it is again, though. Worth watching again.
That was the infraction there on the left-hand side of your screen. Natu Tagovailoa. Just a little bit too quick. That's Cincinnati's first penalty.
2 minutes and 38 seconds to go in the first half. Bengals lead the game 10-0. 3rd down and 5 arises for Dave Craig and the Seahawks. Cincinnati leads this series 6-2. Bengals have won the last 3 meetings. Here's a throw and a catch, and turning upfield is Brian Blades ahead for a Seahawk first down. Good execution.
Yeah, that's what they want to get with that pass pattern. They bring Blades up underneath the defense right here, Blades number 89, and give him a chance to catch the ball and then take off running. He has excellent running ability after he makes the catch. It was a 16-yard gain.
Brian Blades came into the game the number 2 receiver in the AFC with 66 catches.
He dodged a bullet there by missing Skip McClendon, because if he'd have hit Skip McClendon, it'd have been all over with him. Skip McClendon, number 72, is about 900 pounds.
Blades was a second-round draft choice out of Miami of Florida. Same year as older brother Benny was a number 1 draft choice of Detroit.
I called him Benny a little bit earlier, but a logical mistake. He does have a brother named Benny.
Another terrific player at another position.
And for another
can't
team.
catch it as well. Got him on defense. As we look at the scoreboard, Houston continues to lead by 10 points over Tampa Bay. Oilers started this day with an 8-5 record, first place in the AFC Central by a half game over the Browns, who are in a 4 o'clock start today. Cleveland playing at Indianapolis. First down and 10 for Seattle. Craig stands in, pump fakes, and dumps it off to John L. Williams. Bengal backers way back in zone coverage, and John L's ahead for a first down as he takes it to the 43-yard line of Cincinnati. Richard Perry finally knocked him down, but there's a 13-yard gain on the play. Now the 2-minute warning is given. The Seahawks moving the ball with their best show of offense in this game, but they're down by 10. Costas, Simpson, and company coming up at halftime with NFL Live. We have 2 minutes to play here in the first half at Cincinnati. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. It's a live shot of the 4 gentlemen. Freeze frame.
They've got to live with it.
First down and 10 for Dave Craig and the Seahawks, who at long last are moving the ball here in this game. Another throw and catch. Lewis Clark loses the ball, but Bengals have it. If they'll look at it on replay, I would think.
The referee's saying it was not a reception.
Wow, they get a break.
Right.
Looked like he took a step or 2 to me. Coach Knox is ready for Alaska.
The umpire, Dennis Riggs, number 30, is right on top of this play, and he says it is not a reception.
Barney Bussey made such a hit he lost his hat. Fulcher was also on the play. He gets the ball.
They never did have really control of the ball before it was knocked out of there. He was fumbling around with it, trying to get it in a spot where... And Chuck Knox is trying to hurry up and speed it up. So
the clock has been stopped since the play, though. Now that he wants to get the play off before they look at it. That's what he was arguing about. Once the next play goes next, the replay is out, but now they're going to review it. He wanted his Seahawks to get another play off. Once a play goes off before there's a review, it's history. But the replay man looking at it back, so we're going to check this out.
once again, Lewis Clark still fumbling around with that ball. He still never had it.
I think you're right, Ahmad.
Right through his legs, and he was hit before he had control of the ball.
The play stands as called.
One more look. Lewis Clark here. Watch, he'll never have possession of the ball. He's still fumbling around with it.
A great second and third look. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. The producer of today's game, Terry Ewert. The director and coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. As Sam White looks on, his Bengals don't get the ball back. There has been one turnover in the game. Eric Ball fumbled in second quarter for the Bengals.
Second clock to 7 seconds. 7.
Wants the clock to have 7 seconds added. Chuck Knox has had 4 playoff teams in his previous 6 years at Seattle. Unlikely he'll have one this year. The worst record any of the Seahawk teams have had, an 8-8. Sam White surviving a 4-11 season 3 years ago, came back last year. A great year, 12-4, and on to the Super Bowl. Timing throw, and Brian Blades gets it just off the turf. On a 2nd and 10 play, it's good for a gain of 8. Clock running. Dave Craig in the hurry-up offense, calling out the play without huddling. He sets in the shotgun with 4 wide receivers in the game. 4-man rush for the Bengals. Out pattern. Blades again. First down, and he steps out of bounds to stop the clock. Well done by the Seahawks as they drive on.
Seattle Seahawks able to move this ball in the middle of the field. David Craig trying to get some points before this half closes. Now Craig looking for Blades the entire way. Blades just a nice possession catch. Gets out of bounds.
Blades, who really come alive, he's come up with 5 receptions for 46 yards. Seahawks will be right back in this if they can take it in. Down 10-0. Craig on first down on the run. He's got positive yardage as he's down to the 21-yard line. A gain of 8 yards on the play. Barney Bussey came up on him. The clock running, as you see. 1:15 to go and ticking on down. 2nd and 2 as they keep the 4 wideouts in the game.
Like Boomer Esiason, David Craig is a very dangerous runner.
End zone throw. He's going for Stanzi, and it's tipped away. Eric Thomas with a huge play for the Bengals, number 22. Ball perfectly thrown. Excellent pattern run by Stanzi. And Eric Thomas recovers to tip away what would have been a touchdown throw.
A great play by number 22, Eric Thomas, giving the receiver no chance to even make a play on the ball. Watch this right at the last minute. Thomas jumps, number 22 in the black, and just knocks this ball away. That's an all-pro play right there. That way the receiver doesn't even get a chance to make a play on it.
Incomplete pass stops the clock with 61 ticks left in the first half. As you see, 10-0 Bengals. Seattle on the drive. 3rd down and 2 for the first down. From the 21-yard line. Craig, another timing throw. This time it's to Stanzi complete. Down to the 13-yard line. And the Seahawks, running those out patterns, make the catches and get out of bounds to stop the clock.
A fine play here by David Craig, just getting the first down and stopping the clock. Fires it over to Stanzi, gets out of bounds, and accomplishes 2 things. Stops the clock and gets the first down.
Tom Flores, the general manager of the Seahawks, the former head coach of the Raiders, was saying yesterday that nobody gets in a hot streak like Craig, because he said, I know I was on the other side of the ball when we were the Raiders. He said, when he gets hot, he's awful tough to control. He's not had that real hot streak this year. He could be on one right now. Out pattern, another connection. John L. Williams slips and falls at the 10. Not what the Seahawks wanted, a gain of only 3. And now they stop the clock with 49 seconds to play in the first half. So Craig goes over for some sideline counsel as the Seahawks drive. Chuck Knox and the Seattle Seahawks looking for points as the clock shows 49 seconds to play in the first half. Cincinnati up 10-0. They scored first in a 21-yard touchdown pass play, a thing of beauty. An out pattern, Boomer Esiason to Tim McGee. Then Jim Breach hit a 24-yard field goal for Sam Weitz and the Bengals to make it 10-0. Seahawks had not threatened until this drive. They've been moving the ball downfield almost exclusively on the pass. David Craig hitting a lot of timing throws, out pattern.
Watch out for Largent in that slot position. That's where he likes to work.
Next TD reception by Largent. He goes into the record book as number 1 all time. Here's the throw to Largent. Touchdown! He breaks the record and scores the first points of the game for Seattle. So Steve Largent, the all-time receiver in catches and yards, now is the all-timer in touchdown catches. He surpasses the mark set a half-century ago by Don Hudson. His 100th career touchdown catch.
Steve Largent in the slot on your right-hand side, just runs right by the linebacker. There's a great open spot there. Largent finds it and just sets down. Makes a great catch.
This guy is something.
He's made 800 and some great catches. That's his 4th catch today for 35 yards and the all-important touchdown that takes him to the NFL record, surpassing Don Hudson.
And of more immediate importance, the Seahawks are right back in the game as Norv Johnson hits the point after. And with 42 seconds to play in the first half, Cincinnati's lead is cut to 10-7. So Largent, the waiting is over. He makes the record-setting touchdown catch, and it really reflects his career the way he did it. Perfectly positioned, feet planted, outstretched hands. He comes down with the ball and keeps both feet in for the score.
Just a great play there. It's something that can't be underrated. Steve Largent, a very intelligent receiver, knows the defenses, knows where the empty spot is, finds it, sits down, and Craig just has to throw it to him. He's standing there all alone. Very nice catch to know where he is on the field and not let his feet drag out of the back end of the end zone. One of the greatest receivers to ever play in the National Football League. So consistent. And 100 touchdowns. That's twice as many as I scored.
And 50s is about more than just a handful of people scored. The Steve Largent retirement celebration is coming up following the Washington at Seattle game on Saturday, December 23rd. It'll be a post-game party that everybody in the Seattle area is invited to. It'll be held at the Washington State Convention and Trade Center. Admission is $10, and the proceeds go to help the homeless. It's on Saturday, December 23rd, after the Redskins at Seattle game.
Steve Largent, one of the great stories in the National Football League. A lot of times, the other end of the league gets a lot of publicity, but guys like this need more.
Yeah, he's good off the field as he is on. Now Stanford Jennings runs like, look at the pop by Hollis, 25. David Hollis making the special teams hit. Look at, he likes it. One thing that's a misconception about Largent, Ahmad, that people seem to think he can't walk and chew gum. I mean, I think the guy would be a decathlete if he ever chose to go that way.
He is a fine all-around athlete, and he's not slow.
No.
He ran 4.6 in the 40, which is fine speed in the National Football League, and he has such great body control. I think it's the way he runs that people think he's not running very fast.
And like you always said, it's really the speed out of the break, the explosion out of the break that gets you open. He has that. Esiason now trying to get it back downfield. He throws to Eddie Brown, steps out of bounds, a gain of 9. And a ruling he didn't have both feet in. Yesterday you were saying to Steve Largent, maybe you want to play a couple more years. He said, my friend, 2 more games. That's it.
That's right. Here's a shot here to Eddie Brown. It appears that I thought he was in. There's one foot in, the left one. Off the right foot, right on the line. Very nice call. Once again, you get him coming right at you. Eddie Brown, there's left foot, right foot's right on the line. Good call by that referee that was right on top of it, and a very good shot by our cameraman.
One thing about Largent, he said he could be a decathlete. I think he could play Major League Baseball if he put his mind to that. As far as basketball, I think he'd probably play in a Y League. I don't think he could make the NBA.
Boomer finding out to Eddie Brown. Eddie's got left foot in, right foot's right on the line.
That's a fine art, isn't it, Ahmad? You caught just under 500 passes, and a lot of them were made when you keep both feet in. You got a stutter step, and
it's just one of those workmanlike things that every receiver should be able to do. You watched Steve Largent a moment ago on that touchdown pass. He had his feet right inside the end zone line.
2nd and 10. Boomer Esiason looking downfield, dumps it off, and Stanford Jennings makes the mistake of running before the catch. And it's incomplete, and 3rd down and 10 comes up with 26 seconds to play in the first half.
That's a very tough catch. Stanford Jennings looking back at Boomer the entire way, and when you throw the ball after you've been looking back at the quarterback a lot of times you can be surprised when you turn around.
NFL Live coming up shortly, as there are some surprises in Week 14, not the least of which the Buffalo Bills, leaders of the AFC East, in trouble against New Orleans on the Bills' home field. Boomer was 10 of his first 12 in completions. Now he's 0 for 7 in his last 7 tries. As Stanford Jennings runs the ball and gets out to the 32-yard line. And the Bengals quickly call for and are allotted a timeout. Last week, the Bengals finally looked like a Super Bowl contender as they shut out the Browns at Cleveland 21-0. Sam Watch was saying before the game today that even if we win them all, I'm not certain we can get in. We think we can.
They've got to feel awful good about. Look at that Kansas City Green Bay.
They might be a playoff team, those Chiefs.
Cincinnati's got to feel good about shedding somebody out. In this league, it's tough to keep somebody totally off the scoreboard. Especially a team like Cleveland was in first place.
Pittsburgh holding the 7-0 lead on the Jets on Worley's first quarter touchdown run. Washington's on the board, trailing San Diego by 7 at the half. 18 ticks to go in the first here at Riverfront Stadium. Jungle's been quiet for the most part.
These big play receivers like Cincinnati has, and you only got 18 seconds left to go in the half, you're still in trouble if you're the defense.
They can get it downfield in a hurry. Markers down all over before the snap of the ball. Play comes back. Munoz might have moved at left tackle.
Number 78, offense before the snap.
He does something wrong like that about once every 6 weeks.
Left-hand side of your screen, you see Munoz standing up, number 78, just before the snap of the ball. He doesn't make many mistakes. He is one of the best in the business. Has his own television show.
Said he'd like to make that Pro Bowl 10 straight years. I don't know if a lineman's ever done that.
Well, if any lineman deserved to do that, I guarantee you it's Anthony Munoz. He has the respect of every player in the National Football League, and especially those defensive ends that he has to play against.
An all-timer. He'll be in Canton 5 years after he calls it a career.
A gentle giant.
He is. Walter the other tackle. Reimers and Montoya the guards. Kaczynski in its center. As an out pattern is thrown, Jim McGee comes down with the ball at the 37-yard line. That stops the clock with 12 seconds to play in the first half.
And Cincinnati still got a lot of time on the clock. And this offense, and Sam White's over there and Boomer in control, they can do a lot of things with 12 seconds. At least get in position to try to kick a field goal.
White was saying to Ahmad that Chuck Knox is one of his favorite rival coaches in the NFL. So he called him one of the game's real characters.
Well, they're both a couple of characters.
Esiason stands in, and there's another sack as Joe Nash comes calling, number 72. And also on the rush with his 11th sack of the season, Rufus Porter. I guess they each get a half a sack on a thing like that.
Rufus Porter, here's a guy that goes
there first.
500 miles an hour every single play. I'm talking about intensity. You watch Rufus Porter coming from the top of your screen. He's on Anthony Munoz, puts that quickness on him and goes right underneath him. Joe Nash and Rufus get there just about the same time.
Yeah, they each get a half a sack. So the Seattle Seahawks rally and get right back in the game on a sustained drive, and number 80 with his 100th career touchdown catch. A record holder in that area also gets the Seahawks on the board. It is 10-7 Cincinnati.
Very big play by that catch of Steve Largent. I think the Seahawks just looked to try to get any kind of points on the board. They were looking to try to get 3 up there, and all of a sudden they get down, and all of a sudden they're down by only 3 points. They're in this football game.
Dave Craig had real trouble getting his offense going early. Then he got hot. Benzu the Tiger, the favorite animal of Boomer Esiason, watched old Boomer get hit 10 of his first 12 and then missed 7 in a row. He actually ended up missing about 8 straight, then got a little bit hot in that aborted last drive. Hit 1 of 8 in that final drive for just 11 yards in the closing seconds.
Once again, the touchdown catch. There's Steve Largent right in the back and makes a great grab.
This is Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad, now sending to New York to NFL Live and Bob Costas.
We welcome those of you watching the games from Lambeau Field and from the Jungle, Riverfront in Cincinnati. Bob Costas along with O.J. Simpson. Notes of interest in both those games, Largent's record, and the Chiefs keep rolling. And you've been on their case, or on to their case, for the last 5 or 6 weeks. This is a team you've been touting.
Well, you know, they got a shaky start at the beginning of the year. This is a team that blew a couple of games early in the year, but they're playing the best defense in the NFL right now. These guys are playing some super football. I think in the last 5 or 6 games, they've only given up in one game about 234 yards of total offense. That's amazing. Each week they go up against a team that's in first place and they beat them. So the Packer fans shouldn't feel that bad. They're going up against a real hot football team, maybe the hottest team in football right now.
And the Chiefs still have a wild card shot at 6-6-1 and leading 21-3. Steve DeBerg with a couple of touchdown passes. The last one to Emil Harry with just 7 seconds to play before halftime. Moving along, Minnesota leading at home, Halftime now at the Metrodome. They're 8-5, sharing first place with the Packers in the NFC Central. They lead the Falcons 20-10. Herschel Walker, an injured toe, doesn't start. DJ Dozier in his place throws a 19-yard option pass for a touchdown to Anthony Carter. Detroit, which has won 3 of their last 4, gets 75 first-half yards, including an 18-yard touchdown run from Barry Sanders, leading the Bears. The Bears are just falling apart, obviously, at this point in the season. Halftime at Soldier Field, 17-10. Cincinnati, in the game some of you are watching, leading Seattle 10-7. But let's pause to look back on a moment of history. David Craig to the back of the end zone for Steve Largent. He'll catch it for his 100th career touchdown reception. It breaks the record of the Hall of Famer Don Hutson, the Alabama product, who finished his career with the Green Bay Packers in 1945 with 99 touchdown receptions. And so it's a record that stood for almost half a century. Steve Largent, just a few weeks away from the end of his NFL career, breaks it today. Houston bearing down on the playoffs with their record of 8-5. A couple of touchdown passes by Warren Moon in the first half. One to Drew Hill, another to Curtis Duncan, leading over Tampa Bay at the Astrodome 20-3. Pittsburgh up on the Jets 7-0. The Jets lose Al Toon to a concussion in the first quarter. Tim Worley with a 35-yard touchdown run for Pittsburgh. Steelers playoff hopes still alive at 6-7, leading the Jets 7-zip halftime at the Meadowlands. New Orleans starts John Fourcade at quarterback in place of the recently ineffective Bobby Hebert. He throws 2 touchdown passes in the first quarter at Buffalo. The Juice said the Bills were in danger of being upset today. It's a long way from over, but they trail by 4 halftime at home. San Diego with Billy Joe Tolliver connecting for touchdown passes of 26 yards to Anthony Miller and 5 yards to Wayne Walker in the first quarter at RFK, leading the favored Redskins at the half there, 14-7. And the only game that has not yet reached halftime, late in the second quarter, Philadelphia up on Dallas 14-3. Randall Cunningham 4 yards to Chris Carter for 1 score. Then they fake a field goal, and Matt Cavanaugh, Cunningham's backup, throws 13 yards to Chris Carter off the fake for the TD there. The Eagles lead 14-3. And when we come back, a round-robin discussion of all the Super Bowl possibilities as we bring in several of our NBC analysts, plus the Juice and the Insiders. That's when we come back as the halftime report continues after these messages.
NBC Sports.
Okay, welcome back to our NFL Live studios in New York. Halftime, week 14 of the season. The playoffs just around the corner, and that prompts the question of who will compete in the Super Bowl on January 28th in New Orleans. In an effort to shed some light on this key question, we've assembled an august group of our NBC football analysts, along with OJ and the Insiders. And now, as they say in the polling business, folks, this is merely a random sampling of opinion, not a scientifically based survey. But let's get it started with a man who claimed 3 Lombardi trophies in the 80s as head coach of the 49ers, Bill Walsh. Bill, your thoughts?
Well, Bob, there are only 2 teams in the league that are fully dimensional this year. Those are the Denver Broncos and San Francisco 49ers. They're complete teams. I don't see how they can miss. If you want to talk about a dark horse, then I think Philadelphia, with their big play Cunningham, could slip in there. A dark horse would be Kansas City. I think Schottenheimer's done a great job.
Merlin Olsen standing by in Indianapolis. Merlin, agree, disagree?
No, it's hard to disagree with Bill Walsh about the play of the 49ers. But one thing I would remind Bill of is how difficult it is to carry that Super Bowl trophy. It's like an anchor dragging that team down. And that's going to keep me from naming the 49ers in the NFC. I'm going to pick my old mates, the Los Angeles Rams. I think Everett's ready. Robinson's got them on track for the late rush. The other thing that I would look at in the AFC, of course, is the Denver Broncos. And I agree with Coach Walsh there. I wouldn't have made that pick early in the year. But I think the Broncos have done the best rebuilding job in the NFL. They're bigger, they're stronger, they're playing a much more physical brand of football, and I think that'll get them to the Super Bowl. I have to agree on a dark horse. Buddy Ryan's Philadelphia Eagles, nasty enough and mean enough to find their way possibly to that Super Bowl game.
Okay, Merlin. Now, I'm tempted to go to Charlie Weaver to block, but I'm forced to take Bob Trumpy in Cincinnati. Trump?
I'll look at the AFC first, and just like everybody else, I like Denver. I think the Broncos have grown up around John Elway. My dark horse in the AFC is a real dark horse. That's the Houston Oilers. I like them because I think they're a very difficult team to offensively prepare to beat their defense. In the NFC, I'm like everybody else. I'm picking the San Francisco 49ers, but I think my reason's a little bit different. I think they're a vastly superior team because the coaching is better. I think anybody could have coached that team last year and they'd have won the Super Bowl. This year, George Seifert has got the San Francisco 49ers playing way above their head. They're my pick to win it all.
Wait a minute. We have to build in rebuttal time here. It's like crossfire. It's like Evans and Novak or Buchanan and this new guy. What's his name? Kinsley. All right, Walsh. Respond.
Well, what do I say about Bob? I coached Bob for 8 years, and I know that the intellect that he possesses, so I don't have any problems with Bob.
Well, here's another great mind, Jimmy Cephalo, standing by in Green Bay, where it appears to be really tropical in nature. Right? We can see how comfortable you are, Jimmy. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm staying out of that other discussion. I agree with everyone else. I think the Broncos will make it in the AFC. Under Wade Phillips, they're bigger, stronger defensively. It's a better team this year than the ones that went to the Super Bowl a couple of years ago. In the NFC, I like the Eagles. It doesn't matter how many games you win at the beginning of the season. It's the team that gels at the end, and I think the Eagles are doing just that. As far as the dark horse is concerned, I like the Rams. They've shown they can win on a streak, and they can win on the road against good opponents, as they beat the 49ers earlier in the season at Candlestick. I think that's the dark horse team.
Let's pop back out to Cincinnati. Ahmad standing by. What do you think?
Well, you know, I have to agree with Bob Trumpy. Not about Bill Walsh, but about the 49ers. They were the world champs, and you know what they've done is they have gotten better, so they're a lock to go in the NFC. In the AFC, I think Denver, they've been around the top a long time, and with that home field advantage, they have sent a lot of teams home crying there at their stadium. Now, in terms of a dark horse, I'd have to go with Cincinnati, because if you got to remember, they were 34 seconds away from winning it all. And if they can get all their injured players healthy, they should be the dark horse. Now, for a sleeper, that has to be the Dallas Cowboys. They've been asleep all year.
Yeah. All right, now, Ahmad, it's time to go to our old partner, Paul McGuire in Buffalo, and he's in his usual mode, sitting alone in a darkened room. Paul?
Hey, they always put me where mushrooms grow for some reason or other, and I don't understand it. All right, I don't agree with any of those guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I don't know what happened to Ahmad. What happened to Minnesota, Ahmad? Forget about it. I'm taking the Minnesota Vikings because they've got all the tools, and I think Wade Wilson has got everything on track. As far as the AFC is concerned, Trumpy, I'm ashamed of you. I like Ahmad's dark horse. I'm taking Cincinnati. Again, they were that close, and I think they're good enough to get back into it. They're going to win their division. And a dark horse, the Buffalo Bills. I mean, they're going to put it together. They could have wrapped up their division almost 5 weeks ago. Today, they can wrap it up if Miami loses.
All right, let's come inside where it's warm to the insiders, and Mr. Bobby Beathard will lead it off. Bob?
Well, I think the class of the league is the 49ers, of course. And Denver, I picked them at the beginning of the year, so I'm sticking with them. If they could get that last Denver team in the Super Bowl, this one's heads and shoulders above that last Super Bowl team. And the dark horse, I think the Houston Oilers. When they play well, they're as good as anybody, but they have to play well the rest of the way out.
And the handoff to the wily one, Mr. Ralph Wiley of Sports Illustrated.
Well, Bob, Paul McGuire might be in the dark there, but he's right. Minnesota's got the best 40-man team, 45-man team. However, I can't pick them to win because of the fractured nature of the team. I'm with Jimmy Cephalo. The 49ers play great, but they can hit a valley all of a sudden. It's happened before. They're looking great. Boom, one game plan, they're out of it. I think it's going to be Philadelphia and Denver, with Minnesota, a sneaky fast team.
Juice, you run the anchor leg here.
I agree with you, Ralph Hill. I agree with most of the guys here. I think the 49ers for the last 2 years have been the best team in football. I think they'll get it together and continue to play well during the playoffs. And if they do go to the Super Bowl, I think they should give Bill Walsh a Super Bowl check. He should get a residual if this was movies, because it's still his team. And I'm a little sentimental in the AFC. I'm going with the Buffalo Bills. Now, they played up and down to the level of their opposition. This year, I believe that when they get in the playoffs, that they'll play up to their ability. And I don't know how these guys can call Philadelphia, the Rams, Minnesota dark horses. These guys should be co-favorites. I'm going with a true dark horse. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs, especially if they win the day.
And now, a final caution for our viewers at home. Remember, these men are professionals. Do not attempt this at home. NBC's NFL Live will continue in a moment.
Find out what...
The Cincinnati Bengals, after building a 10-0 lead, holding to a 3-point advantage at halftime here at Riverfront Stadium. Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. The Bengals failing to convert that 4th-and-1 play looms very large in this game. And all of a sudden, on a cold day, Ahmad, Dave Craig got hot throwing the ball.
Well, Dave Craig is one of those players that you never can tell. If he gets hot, he is as good as any quarterback in the league. And the way they started it off, though, was Boomer Esiason with that excellent play fake. He fakes up the middle. Now he's still got the ball. He's looking downfield towards Tim McGee, who's running out ball. Fires it downfield. McGee makes the catch. And this was the first score of the day. Tim McGee having a great year. You know, last year Eddie Brown was a big play man, but this year Tim McGee coming in, catching the ball. Now here was Steve Largent. Seattle came right back. Dave Craig looking for Largent the entire way. Largent right on the back end of the end zone. Makes a great catch here, and he keeps his feet in bounds. And that was his 100th career touchdown. But more importantly, it was a touchdown that brought this Seattle team back into this football game.
Yeah, they had momentum as the first half closed, and we'll see if Cincinnati can get it back. As we look at the Coors halftime stats, total yards, the Bengals have the advantage, and in time of possession, but Seattle was the hot club late in the second quarter. Here's the kickoff now by Jim Breach. Knocked downfield. Elroy Harris has a problem fielding the ball. Picks it up. He runs hard. Takes it across the 25. Taken on tacklers. He's to the 30. And that's where the Seahawks will start the third quarter, 1st and 10. Tackle was made by number 51, Leon White of the Bengals.
This Cincinnati Bengal team, before they came out of the field to start this second half, they were all fired up down in their end of the end zone. But I guarantee you, Seattle is not going to give up.
No, they are not. This could be a good one right down to the final gun. As we're set to go now, the Seahawks, 1st and 10. Wide to the right comes Largent, and comes Blade. Our set on the line. They could be ready to run the ball to open the third quarter of play on 1st down and 10. Handoff straight up the middle, and Kurt Warner breaks it. Turns the corner. He's across the 50, inside the 40, and Warner is all the way down to the 34-yard line.
Kurt Warner back to his explosive running style. And what sets this up, if you can pass the ball, and all of a sudden you got the linebacker sitting. Here's Kurt Warner finding a hole and exploding through it. Now turning on the speed. An excellent play by Kurt Warner, a 33-yard run. Run out of bounds there by Ricky Dixon, number 49.
Dixon saved it from going a lot further, but the Seahawks open fast in the third quarter. It's now 1st down and 10, Seattle. John L. Williams. Nothing there. Might have gotten a yard as he tries the right side of the Bengal defense where Reggie Williams came up number 57 to make the play. Let's watch the ISO of Williams in action.
Well, Seattle going again with that jumbo offense. They've got Andy Heck playing tight end, but there you see Reggie Williams getting rid of Steve Largent, getting rid of Kurt Warner, and then making the play. Reggie Williams, he is the inspirational leader on this defense. He's been around a long time and still playing very well. Really savoring that shutout that they had last week. It's very hard to keep any team in professional football off the scoreboard. And the Bengals did it last week.
Warner again as he darts ahead on a 2nd down and 8 play and doesn't get too much as he's shut down at the 33. Our NBC statistician Elliot Cal pointing out the 33-yarder was Kurt Warner's longest run of the year. Kansas City in command of the Packers at Green Bay. Vikings holding on to lead the Atlanta Falcons. Detroit up on Chicago, a team that's really on a slide. Houston in command of Tampa Bay. Pittsburgh continues to lead the Jets. Buffalo got a field goal by Norwood before halftime. Washington getting right back in it after trailing San Diego 14-0. It's 3rd down. Craig needs 7. Largent, one hand up, can't hold on to the ball. Richard Carey and Barney Bussey were converging on him.
Richard Carey having the tough assignment of trying to cover Steve Largent man-to-man. Anytime they put Largent inside in that slot position, that's where he works best. That ball just a little bit overthrown. Very hard to overthrow Steve Largent because he comes up with some great catches.
Norm Johnson is only 3 of 11 this year outside the 40. This will be a 48-yard attempt with Steve Largent holding. He's got enough distance, and he looks to have the range, and Norm Johnson comes out of his slump, hitting a 48-yarder right down the middle to tie the game. With 12:58 to play in the third quarter, the Seahawks have come back to score 10 straight points.
NBC sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by New Keystone and Keystone Light. Bottled beer taste in a can. Wouldn't that be great? By Northwest Airlines. Their job is to help you do yours. and by Mitsubishi, bringing you a full line of award-winning automobiles. See them all at your Mitsubishi Motors dealer.
The Seahawks on a 48-yard field goal by number 9, Norm Johnson, have tied the game 10-all, and now Johnson kicks off to the Bengals. Kendall Smith and Stanford Jennings are back. This is Jennings at the 4. 15. And out to the 22-yard line. And now we'll see if the Bengals, who were so hot on offense, Esiason hitting 10 of his first 12 throws in the game, and then closing with just 1 completion in his last 8 attempts in the first half.
The Bengals this time huddling over there on their sideline, and James Brooks, well, he's getting close to some of the action, just wants to make sure that he knows what's going on. He hasn't entered the game so far.
Yeah, this is a playoff game for the Bengals, as mentioned tonight, and they've got to put Brooks in there, injured or not, if this game's on the line, and it certainly is now, as the Seahawks have rallied to tie it, 10-all. Bengals' first possession of the third quarter. And again, Boomer's off target as the Seahawks continue to get defensive push on the passer.
Eddie Brown went in motion that time, just a little flat pass that Boomer was trying to hit him with. It overthrew him a little bit. Boomer, 11 completions, 21 tries, and in comes James Brooks.
Comes into the game with almost 1,100 yards rushing, 5.6 a carry. Has had fumble problems in the recent games because of a rib protector he's been wearing. But Brooks is a key man out of the backfield, and a key man from scrimmage as James Brooks puts it ahead on 2nd and 10 for 11 yards and a first down for Cincinnati.
You could feel the electricity when James Brooks entered this ball game, and that is why he is a threat to go all the way anytime he touches the ball. He hits this hole and starts to accelerate through the hole, almost comes through the back end of it. A 12-yard gain for James Brooks on his first carry of the ball game.
Giving the Bengals much-needed impetus. First down and 10 now for Cincinnati at the Bengal 35-yard line. Brooks again, both hands on the ball, and again he's ahead for yardage out to the 38-yard line. He got 3.
He said he's been experimenting with that knee brace, and the first day that he put it on early in the week, it felt a little clumsy, but he said by today, it feels okay. He's a small back, but he does run with a lot of power.
After his recent fumble problems, he was questioned about it. He said it can happen, but remember, on any play, I can go all the way. Nobody knows that better than the Seahawks.
And everybody else that has a chance to play against these Bengals.
James Brooks, a game breaker from Auburn. 2nd down and 6 now for Esiason and the Bengals as they go to the run. Stanford Jennings gets some out to the 42-yard line. And the Seahawks quickly substitute their pass defense unit. Joe Nash makes the tackle. 3rd down and about 3 arises.
Once the game starts to settle in, this quick offense really doesn't give a team a lot of problems. I think psychologically, when you worry about it the entire week, it starts to take a toll on you by the time you play them on Sunday. But most games settle down to just being normal.
Bengals with the 4 wide receiver set now. Big down, 3rd down and 3 for Cincinnati in this tie game. Esiason gets time, makes the connection, and the ball is dropped by Kendall Smith. Wide open. Plays that turn games. Kendall Smith starting to run before he had the handle. And so the Bengals, seemingly with the first down, lose it, and they have to punt.
This is a play that you have to know what your offense needs from you. You must catch this ball. You don't have to turn and run. You just got to catch the ball to keep the plays going. A drop here, and all of a sudden it's a huge play. Just a little short pass, but by dropping that ball, now all of a sudden Cincinnati's got a punt.
Lee Johnson left foots the ball, and not very well, kind of shanked it. And it's going to hit down at the 40-yard line, and it's down there by Barney Bussey. So the Seahawks' second possession of the third quarter will be in very good field position. Lee Johnson's punt was good for only 18 yards. Sam White's counseling his offense. They haven't been getting it done. On a cold day in Cincinnati with the temperature dropping, Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad. Got to have your lid on today, Ahmad, huh?
That's a little nippy out there. And, you know, the thing is, Cincinnati came out like a house on fire, and Seattle played them pretty much even. They've cooled down quite a bit.
See if they can get that momentum back. Right now, though, as we go back to action, Seattle has the ball. They've scored the last 10 points of this game. The rally to tie it up. Craig standing in, throws to an open man. Brian Blades is on the run. He's going to go the distance. They'll not catch Brian Blades, and the Seahawks have taken the lead. 60 yards for a touchdown.
Sam White was so worried about this football team coming in. He said their record was, even though they had lost a couple of more games than the Bengals had, that they were a dangerous football team. And you talk about danger. Chuck Knox got his team playing very well. Brian Blades, I said, one of the best things he does is run with the ball after the catch. Lewis Billups would agree with me, number 24, chased him into the end zone.
Hey, Brian Blades kicked into that extra gear and just ran away from everybody. The longest play of the season for Seattle, a 60-yard touchdown play. And the extra point by Norm Johnson's up and good, and all of a sudden, Seattle has taken over this game, leading 17-10.
A great job by David Craig avoiding the pressure of the rush. Now watch Blades just stop this ball. Now he's got a chance to catch it and run. It is all over with right there. After he gets about 3 steps going in one direction, there's not anybody that's going to catch him.
And he's running away from guys that can fly.
Another look by Craig, stepping up into the pocket and firing to Blades, and Blades is off to the races. He said he wants to go to Hawaii to the Pro Bowl, and he is making a statement right here that he should go. Once again, David Craig, feeling the pressure from the left side, steps in, fires it to Blades. Craig looking the entire way, and he will give us a signal, I'm sure. Looking for a penalty flag, can't find one. There's reason to celebrate.
David Craig getting it done. He's had some interception and fumble problems, but not today. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brian Blades, who's had some drops in recent games, dropped 2 touchdown balls against the Broncos, has come back today to catch 6 for 106 yards and a touchdown.
He is a fine receiver. Does everything well.
Now Norm Johnson set to kick off again as the Cincinnati Bengals really have their season on the line. They have to come back in this game if they're going to go back to the playoff. The defending American Conference champions. The kick is hit into the end zone, and Stanford Jennings is counseled, don't bring it out. So it comes out to the 20, first down and 10 as we look at the scoreboard. Minnesota extending its lead now to 10. Detroit up on Chicago by 7. Houston still up in front. Buffalo's rallied now to tie New Orleans in the 3rd quarter, 19 all. But Bruce Smith, they turn him loose. He turns the game.
Yeah, he can control it. That's one of the few people you see control a game from the defensive end position.
The Bengals offense was a real masterpiece early in the game, but it bogged down. It's not been effective of late. And they'll try to go to the run as James Brooks turns upfield, but the Seahawks are there to get him. James Brooks on the run. Nose tackle Joe Nash makes the stop, number 72 for Seattle. Green, Nash, and Bryant across the defensive front. Been together since the 82 season as the front 3.
The Seattle Seahawks are playing with a lot of enthusiasm. They realize they have a chance to not only be in this game, but to win this football game.
Brian Blades just went over 1,000 yards receiving with that 60-yard touchdown play. His 6th catch of the day. Esiason has penalty markers down all about him as the play is whistled dead. And the Bengals, if they move. Yep.
Number 78 before the snap.
Munoz twice now has set up the pass block before the snap of the ball. Watch the left-hand side.
Left-hand side of your screen, number 78. Munoz is off about a count ahead of the normal count. A lot of times that happens when you have a smaller, quicker guy in front of you, just in a little bit of a hurry to get on the guy. But Munoz having a little bit of problem with the snap count. 6'6", 284 pounds.
Last time, as you know, Ahmad, these two teams played December 31st of 1988 in the AFC Divisional Playoff game. Cincinnati pounded the ball, rushing for well over 200 yards against Seattle. But today, the Bengal offense has been centered around the pass, and of late, there's not been the connection. Here's Esiason throwing on 2nd and long, out pattern, and another drop ball at the 20-yard line. Ira Hillary loses the handle as the Bengal offense has come a cropper with 9:16 to play in the third quarter.
That's 2 big drops down for Kendall Smith. These are the kind of balls you must catch in games like this to keep the drives alive. These are the type of things. Dropping balls like that is like taking the air, inflating a balloon a little bit, because this is a very catchable ball. He's got somebody in his face, but the ball hits him right in the face.
So now it's 3rd down, and the Bengals need 13. 4 wideouts set in the game. Esiason digs in, and he loses the handle as he's sacked. The Seattle pass rush coming hard, and Esiason is down. Jacob Green first to get there.
Jacob Green has been so intense this entire weekend. I saw him yesterday, and he was ready to play yesterday. Here he just comes on bringing that pressure. Here comes Jacob Green, number 79, to the left side of your screen. He's right on Boomer Esiason before he can let that ball go. He's so quick, so intense. He's only 250 pounds, but he has such great agility.
Joe Walder unable to hold him out, and Lee Johnson's back into punt, his 2nd punt of the day. Not that long ago, as you saw, just 18 yards. This time he hits a good one, a long spiral downfield. David Hollis backs up to his 39-yard line. Looks for blockers, and Hollis gets out to the 47. As markers come in, there was an illegal block on the play by Seattle on the return. A 44-yard punt by Lee Johnson, a 7-yard return by David Hollis. Eric Caddis was down to make the play in the tackle on special teams. Sam White said before the game, we have 2 wins more than Seattle. It's only a couple of big plays that's the difference between us having their record and they're having ours.
10 yards, 1st down. Timeout.
Stevens may have been called for an illegal block as there's a timeout on the field.
NBC Sports serves your need to know all week long. Dial 1-900-454-3500 for NBC Scores Plus. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, anywhere in the USA.
The Seahawks have taken control of this game. After Cincinnati looked like they're going to put the knockout punch on, leading 10-0. Seattle came back quickly and tied the game in the third quarter, and now has gone ahead on a 60-yard touchdown pass, 17-7, and Seattle has the ball again. End off Kurt Warner. Nothing there. Bengals come tackling hard. McClendon turned it outside, and Joe Kelly was on the play, 58, to finish it off. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the third quarter as we look at the scoreboard. It's interesting, Ahmad. Boomer Esiason said during the week, we've been a very immature team this season. We think we can beat anybody. But we've proven to ourselves, even at home, anybody can beat us. Unless the Bengals can get back the ball and get it moving, Seattle's liable to pull a major upset today. On 2nd and 10. Craig loses the ball.
These are the kind of things that have plagued the Seattle Seahawks all year. David Craig, and Chuck Knox has to be
nightmare before.
Yeah, he's disappointed, upset, probably 1,000 other feelings. But David Craig trying to look downfield to find somebody, and all of a sudden that ball just knocked out of his hand. Another look, Craig looking downfield, and looks like he just hit it on his thigh pad, and the ball's loose.
But Edwin Bailey, left guard for Seattle, got the ball back. So the Seahawks keep their possession alive. Third, though, and they need 16. That ignited the crowd, that fumble. Out pattern to John L. Williams, running hard. They hem him in, and John L. is cut down short of the first down at the 41-yard line. He had to get to the 46. Sprague and the offense go off. Seattle will punt the ball. Lewis Phillips is on the tackle along with Leo Barker.
John L. Williams, no chance to get that first down, but he is running a lot harder.
Yeah, that was one of the things they thought John L., because of the various injuries, wasn't hammering in like he did last season. You pointed out he had a rib injury and an ankle injury. Everybody has to go at this late date, though. Ruben Rodriguez hits the punt downfield, hits it well. Kendall Smith comes up on the ball at the 23-yard line. To the 30, he's out to the 34-yard line. 37-yard punt and an 8-yard return. Next weekend, more action here on NBC Sports. Saturday, a special edition beginning with NFL Live at 3:30 Eastern Time. Then the Denver Broncos, winners of the AFC West already, head into the Valley of the Sun to take on the Phoenix Cardinals. Sunday, it's a football doubleheader. In Game 1, many of you will see the Houston Oilers face the Bengals here in Cincinnati. In the second part of the doubleheader, most of you will see the Bills battle the defending Super Bowl champion 49ers. Check your local listings for the games in your area. James Brooks on the playing field, and he's play fake to him. Esiason throws, and it's caught at the 46-yard line. Tim McGee turning out, and all of a sudden, Esiason and McGee are back in sync. In concert, they make the connection for a first down, but McGee is down. His fifth catch, 14-yard gain.
Fifth catch for 82 yards, and if Tim McGee can't go, this will be a big loss. There's McGee on the outball. Harper making the tackle. As he goes down, it looks like he might have just fallen on the ball. There it is again, McGee with the catch. Harper running out of bounds.
Yeah,
he's up on his knees, so that's a good sign.
You felt that rock, haven't you?
Yeah, you get the wind knocked out of you, you think you're dead.
$500 for a breath of air.
That's exactly right what happened to him. He fell down on the ball. And boy, the funny thing is guys around you are laughing because they know you're not really hurt. You just got the wind knocked out of you. Trainer coming out trying to ask you what's wrong. You can't talk. It is a helpless feeling.
But Tim McGee's okay, and he made the big play again. A 14-yard gain for a first down.
Look at that ball was right underneath him when he came down.
The Bengals trail the Seattle Seahawks 17-10. 7 minutes and 19 seconds to play in the third quarter. Esiason hit 10 of his first 12 throws today. Check with me as they make the play call in alignment. Timing pattern, quick out. They go to Eddie Brown. Clinton moves down, and Eddie Brown is out close to a first down. And a marker comes in after the tackle. Might be a roughing call, as Eddie Brown is down to the 45-yard line of Seattle.
Eddie Brown is the type of player you got to get the ball in his hands.
Face mask on perhaps Dwayne Harper. Harper's down there.
Just a little stop pattern by Eddie Brown makes the catch, and now he turns around to do his work. Harper right in front of him has him tackled up around the head, and then, oh boy, then Eugene Robinson, number 41, trying to get a lick on Eddie Brown, catches Harper on the side of the head. Here's another look. Watch number 41 in white come into your screen. There's Harper 29. Now, just as he starts to wrestle him down, watch Eugene Robinson, 41, just catches him in the side of the head.
Harper's getting up. He's dazed. He was really dinged on that hard hit. It's a first down for the Bengals. Esiason looking deep. Here's the rush again, and Esiason loses the ball. One of his linemen gets it back, Bruce Kazurski. Number 64, the veteran center from Holy Cross.
Excellent play by Kazurski. We saw Boomer in trouble. He was right on top of it. Boomer dropping back the pass. He's got some pressure from Joe Nash, and David Wyman gets that ball knocked loose, and Kazurski's right there to fall on it. Second and a long. 22 yards.
Seattle getting the big rush. They've not had it much this year. 4 wideouts in the game on 2nd and 22. Esiason tries to stifle the rush, going to the run to Stanford Jennings, and he doesn't get much.
Seattle defensive line, you know, they took a lot of heat early in the year. They called themselves the China Wall. Looks like they're coming back into play.
Catholic Hunter made the stop.
As you see Sam White signaling in the next play. And when Sam signals in these plays,
Tom Catlin, the defensive coordinator.
When White signals in the plays from the sideline, the entire team knows the play. He's not just signaling it into the quarterback. He's signaling it into the entire offensive team. Therefore, nobody should be able to make a mistake because they all know what the play is.
Boomer stands in. Downfield throw. It is almost intercepted. James Jefferson, number 26, an extra defensive back, quickly cut in front of Tim McGee and broke up the play. Very nearly picked it off. Again, the big push up front as Seattle's Jeff Bryant put the heat on Boomer Esiason.
McGee running a fine pattern. Now watch Jefferson. He's got the jump on the ball and the angle. Now that ball there should have been a turnover going the other way. Those are the things that in the past Seattle has been able to take advantage of situations like that and get the turnover. There he just happens to miss the ball. Boomer only 3 for his last 15 attempts.
Here's the punt downfield by Johnson, and it hops into the end zone. Hollis lets it go. It will come out to the 20-yard line with the Seahawks going offense 1st and 10. 47-yard punt, but a 27-yard net. This game, a dramatic turnabout. The Seahawks down 10-0 have rallied to score 17 unanswered points to take a 7-point lead. Now have the ball with 5:46 to play in the 3rd quarter. David Craig hands off Kurt Warner, looking for a hole to jump through if he can. He gets ahead for 3. Jason Buck and Skip McClendon, the defensive ends for Cincinnati, made the stop. Buck undersized at 245 pounds, but super strong. He bench presses 450. An Outland Trophy winner from Brigham Young.
The Seahawks wanted to come in here and try to run at Jason Buck. I think a lot of people think that before the game, but Buck can certainly hold his own. He is a wiry, strong, excellent defensive lineman.
2nd down and 7 for Craig and the Seahawks. John L. Williams. Stop. Lunges ahead. He got 4. It'll bring up 3rd down and about 3. Carl Zander, 91, was on the stop along with Skip McClendon.
A little bit of a wrestling match down there. That's where the bench work. You know, you do that bench pressing so you can pull the ball away from somebody.
Your old friends the Vikings just went on a tear. Pittsburgh continues to lead the Jets now in the 4th quarter. And the Skins have come back from a 14-0 deficit to lead San Diego by 2. 3rd down. The Seahawks need 3. Warner turning upfield. They'll get him. No gain. They have to punt the ball. Leo Barker staying at home as the Seahawks look to cross up. The pass rush and the pass coverage with a run. But on the tackle, David Grant, number 98, and Leo Barker, number 53.
An excellent play by the Cincinnati defense. This is a huge play right here. Seattle trying to pretend like they're going to throw the ball deep and handing the ball off to Kurt Warner. And boy, there's a lot of people around that ball, led by David Grant, the 58.
Bengals coming with a 10-man rush. They're going for the ball. They don't get near it, though. The punt is high. Kendall Smith waits for it, fields it, tries to turn the corner, does for a moment, and gets ahead for about a 5-yard return. So Boomer Esiason and the Bengals come out to run the offense, trailing 17-10. 3:20 to play now in the 3rd quarter. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League. It is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the National Football League is prohibited. This game is the property of the National Football League, of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Seattle Seahawks. All rights are reserved. Esiason having trouble making the connections now. Quick out pattern. Eddie Brown turns upfield. Wrestled down hard by Melvin Jenkins. Bengal coaches protesting that he went to the head.
Certainly appeared that way, too. Rodney Holman over there arguing, everybody yelling, but Eddie Brown just jumps up and jogs back to the huddle. Just a little stop pattern. They give the ball to Eddie Brown, hoping that if he can break this tackle, and that shot is right to the top of his head.
Got him in the ear hole.
That's a close one.
Gain on the play of 6. It's 2nd down and 4. Brooks spins, drives, and gets close to the 45-yard line. He'll be just short of the first down by about a yard.
James Brooks, so explosive. If he can just find a little crack, he will explode through there. That's why he's so dangerous. He has that ability to change directions going full speed and then turn it up another notch as he explodes through the hole. You have got to wrap him up. And here comes Cincinnati with a quick, they're up to the ball very quickly.
The Seattle coaches were marveling at the big plays amount that Cincinnati gets out of this hurry-up offense, this no-huddle offense. It's not that they have a limited number of things they do out of it. They run their full offense out of it. They've had 8 huge scoring plays out of this no-huddle offense this year. James Brooks on 3rd and just over a yard. Hits in hard and gets the first down. And the Bengals keep the drive alive now as they have the ball out to their 49-yard line. Sam White continues in the hurry up. Penalty marker down. Long ball downfield. Marker is down. It's broken up at the 13-yard line. Might have been a quick snap penalty. There are 2 flags down. One at the line of scrimmage, one in the Seattle secondary.
You hit it right on the head, Don, when you talk about trick plays. The Bengals do not have trick plays. They have a very good offense that they can do anything from it. And there's Chuck Knox. He's a little bit upset. He thinks he got him in that quick snap deal.
I tell you, at practice yesterday, he was rather vehement, wasn't he? Talking about...
Certainly was.
Bob McElwee, the referee.
They have already warned them once.
Delay now in Cincinnati for Seattle for a 12th man on the field. Looks like it'll be offsetting.
Chuck Knox does not want to hear that. Now he's even more. He's not through.
He was almost this hot yesterday telling us about it.
He certainly was. He said that's not right. They didn't give us a chance to get our guys in.
I'll tell you, the coaches exercise. Hawk fans out there in Seattle are exercise.
Does that mean mad exercise?
It's a 1st and 5 play. The call is against a 5-yard penalty. Look at the play fake by Boomer. Runs out of time. Downfield throw, and it's missed by Craig Taylor. They don't go to him often. That's probably why. He can run it, though. Jeff Bryant got another big rush on Boomer Esiason, along with Jacob Green.
Boomer Esiason, watch this hand work by Boomer. No one knows. He hides that ball. Nobody knows where it is. And that's what gives him a little bit of extra time to throw the ball. Because everybody's trying to tackle the guy that he faked to. Still hangs onto the ball, and just a little bit high for Craig Taylor.
It came on a 1st and 5 play, the incomplete pass, so it's now 2nd down and 5 from the 46-yard line. Craig Taylor moves ahead for very little yardage, trying to hit into the right side of the Seattle defense. He's to the 44-yard line of the Hawks. Joe Nash got him. You see the 3rd quarter clock winding down to 1:40. And now, after a 1st and 5 play, the Bengals find themselves with 3rd and 3, almost 4. Look at the guys leaning into the huddle.
That's right. It's Joe Nash and Jeff Bryant leaning in, trying to listen to the play. I don't know if it would help if you heard them the way they call the play.
They get the Skinner defense and the Geronimo offense. Boomer on third, makes the throw, and McGee loses the ball. Melvin Jenkins came up 24. And let's see, with a lot of time left in the game, the Bengals are going to go by the book and play the form shot. They'll punt the ball. Drive is stopped, though, with the Seahawks still in the lead, 17-10.
This ball is just a little bit behind McGee. Just a little quick slant ball, and it's a little bit back behind. That's a tough ball to catch.
I'll tell you, Boomer's game today looks like two different people. Hit 10 of his first 12, and since then, he's not been getting it done.
No, 4 for 18.
David Hollis is back deep for the Seahawks. Lee Johnson puts a high wedge shot on the ball, and Hollis there catches it at the 14-yard line. So the Seahawks go back on offense with a 7-point lead. Kick off the New Year in style with NBC's Championship Monday College Bowl lineup. The excitement begins with the Hall of Fame Bowl, where the SEC power, the Auburn Tigers, take on the Buckeyes of Ohio State. Then high-scoring Florida State battles Nebraska in the Sun-Kissed Fiesta Bowl, followed by a game which could determine the national championship. It's the Federal Express Orange Bowl as #1 ranked and undefeated Colorado goes against the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. The best in the bowls, New Year's Day on NBC Sports. 58 seconds to go, third quarter. Seattle's Dave Craig dropping the throw. His team leading 17-7. Throw and a catch to John L. Williams. Not much yardage. He's out to the 16-yard line. David Fulcher was up quickly to make the tackle. Offensive huddle there on the sideline.
They need to get this huddle. They got to get themselves going because they have done nothing offensively in the second half. And I'm sure that's what most of the guys are talking about over there, getting their offense going. They have a high-powered offense that is running low on fuel.
22 seconds to go, third quarter, clock running. Second down and 7 for the Seahawks at their 17. Warner. At the 19-yard line, it'll bring up third down and 6. Jason Buck, 99 on the stop again for Cincinnati. And that'll do it for 3 quarters of play at Cincinnati, but Coach Chuck Knox has seen his Seahawks rally to take a 7-point lead. We're back and set to start the fourth quarter. Don Cookie with an odd shot at sold-out Riverfront Stadium, with the Bengals fighting for a playoff spot or up against it. Seattle, the underdog, has come in and scored 17 straight points to take the lead. A drop ball, much aided, though, by the play of cornerback Lewis Billups. Ryan Blades had it, then Billups, 24, put the hit on, so a third down play comes up short. And the Bengals will get the ball back on a punt from the Seahawks.
Dave Craig trying to hit Blades. That's a catchable ball. You got to come up with those plays. The ball gets right into his shoulder pad. That's why a lot of times if you can turn those hands the other way and catch the ball out front of you, it doesn't get a chance to ricochet off the pads.
Last season, Cincinnati had the best record in football. When the Super Bowl was over, they had a 14-5 mark. That was even better than the 49ers. But as we know, the 49ers won the big game in the final drive. Rodriguez just gets it away. They almost got to the ball. Kendall Smith from his 42. And the coverage is right there. David Wyman, the veteran linebacker from Stanford, 92, down to cover on the play. But again, Esiason and the Bengals have very good field position from which to work.
They do, but they haven't done much, Don. 49 yards in the third quarter, while Seattle had 114 yards.
New Orleans and Buffalo still tied. Houston continues to lead Tampa Bay by 10. As the Oilers look to hold their lead in the AFC Central with the all-important game, perhaps, against the Bengals coming up next Sunday. First and 10. Esiason goes to the run. James Brooks looks for a gap. Not much there. He gets to the 46-yard line. Brooks ran for 3 before linebacker Tony Woods knocked him down.
This Cincinnati Bengal offense needs a tiger in their tank right now. The Tigers appear to be playing for the Seahawks.
Get Denzu out of that cage over there. The third quarter numbers for the game now. Seattle's taken over all the overall yardage. Last time they played in that playoff game, late December of last year, Cincinnati an overwhelming margin in time of possession and in yardage. 2nd and 7. Esiason again gets time, but the ball is tipped at the line of scrimmage. He was going to Holman, but somebody got a hand up. That brings up 3rd down and 7.
Boomer having a lot of time to throw that ball. Darren Como making a very good play. There's Jacob Green getting his right hand on the ball, which denies Holman a chance to catch it. Jacob Green, an all-pro player.
Boomer has said he wished they had offensive line ratings. His would get 100 on a lot of games. Now he throws, and it's low but caught. And ahead for the first down on 3rd down and 7 is Kendall Smith, who dropped that 3rd down pass earlier that was right in his hands. This time he makes a terrific play right off the turf.
Well, Boomer doing an excellent look. They want to get him right up on the ball and go again. Look at Sam White. He wants him to go right now. They're still a little late in getting the ball up. They caught Seattle with 12 guys on the field.
High throw to James Brooks. Look at him take on people, and James Brooks at 182 pounds fights his way inside the 45-yard line. But as you pointed out, Ahmad, markers are down as the Seahawks really drives them nuts. The coach is trying to substitute against this hurry-up offense.
And Chuck Knox just totally frustrated. He didn't know what they're going to call. He said they're not consistent in this call.
Rob McElroy is going to take his time adjudicating.
Yeah, once they get finished with that adjudicating,
they still don't know what to do.
Once again against Seattle.
Our coach Knox, I say, he's ready to go up like Mount Helen out there.
Mount St. Helens.
Mount St. Helens.
They don't have to keep
Tell I'm from
straight.
Buffalo, right? We don't have too many mounds on. But I know how to say Puyallup now.
Good. See, I have to keep you up to date on these names out there in the Northwest. Puyallup.
Since he's passed 18 times on 1st down. It's 1st and 5 after the penalty. They've run it just 9 times. They run this time. James Brooks takes it for the moment. Joe Nash hangs on, rides him down. But James Brooks, who summons power from that light body, 182 pounds, to take on defensive linemen and drag them along, breaks it ahead for 11 yards and a Bengal 1st down.
And brought down by Joe Nash and Jacob Green. Joe Nash on him first. He's powering past all the big guys. He has that ability to explode on those defensive linemen while they're still engaged with a block. So it's almost like a double team in there. Just broke his own Bengals single-season record, rushing record.
Most remarkable stat, not only is he over 1,100 yards, he averages 5.6 a carry. That's going to go up today. On 1st down, Esiason with a timing out pattern, but he's not close to Ira Hillary. Boomer gets some tail on the ball, and it takes off on him.
Once again, Sam White trying to get his team to get right up on the ball and go again. They're trying to go with a quick snap.
Might go to that Bone 8 return pass that ran last week at Cleveland. Hand off to Brooks. Fake sweep back to Esiason, and he hit Tim McGee for a touchdown.
That was a picture-perfect play, but also one of the normal plays that they have in this offense. Sam White. Now, boy, I'll tell you, got players running on and off. And
2nd down and 10 now. Both teams at their full complement. 11 guys each way, just like it's supposed to be. But there are 3 tight ends in now for Cincinnati as they run with James Brooks cutting back. He's inside the 25-yard line on the 2nd down and 10 play and gets to the 23. Joe Nash was again the lead tackler for the Seahawks. Again, Seattle confused with their defensive substitutions. I don't think they have 10, 11 guys out there. Somebody on the Seahawks kicked the ball.
That's the way to get a little time. In basketball, they untie their shoes. Football, when the referee puts the ball down, he just...
Or you can look for a contact lens.
That's right. Inadvertently kick the ball a little bit. Now give me a chance to get my guys on and off the field.
David Wyman, a smart guy, Stanford grad.
That was a very smart move there by Wyman.
Third down and 4. That'll be the new thing now they'll have to rule on. Can you kick the ball? Brooks. Nothing there. He finds a way. And here comes a marker in. And the umpire threw it. Well, often indicates holding on a tight end. Holding against Cincinnati is the call. With 11 minutes and 23 seconds left to go in the game. Knox and Catlin checking their defense. I think Chuck is counting people.
If they're going to get called for penalties, might as well put 14, 15 guys out there. Make sure they don't get the touchdown.
10 yards. Third down.
Just like you said, John, holding.
You got Kazurski on. He's not happy about it.
But as I was saying earlier, a minute ago, that Chuck Knox saying if they're going to get a free play, you got to make sure that they don't get a big play. So what's the difference in having 12 or 14 out there?
Well, Buddy Ryan with the 14 guys in his punt team.
It worked, too.
Yeah, he ran time off the clock.
I think they see they only count to 12.
Knox said the officials didn't catch it when they had 14. So the replay guy did. It's 3rd and 14 for Cincinnati. Bengals down by 7. Downfield throw, and it's tipped away. Eddie Brown did well. He had to reach back. He couldn't catch it, so he knocked it away from Dwayne Harper, number 29. And it's 4th and 14, and Jim Breach is coming out. This will be a long try for Jim Breach, if in fact they do try a field goal. 51-yarder.
You never can tell with Sam White and these Cincinnati Bengals. I mean, they got so many plays in their offense. I mean, you don't know if it's a field goal attempt until the ball is kicked.
We should also point out at this point, Ahmad, Jim Breach has punted from this formation in the past. He usually can't get it there from 51. He's going to punt it indeed. Nicely done. Jim Breach angles a punt and knocks it out of bounds at the 6-yard line. So they do go to the punt from their place kicker. We'll be back after these messages from your local station. Two coaches on the cutting edge of the NFL rulebook. As we're in the 4th quarter, the Seahawks aren't going to be a playoff team this year, but they're certainly playing like one. As Seattle holds a 17-10 lead, and Cincinnati's got to get their offense in gear, which they seem unable to do.
They certainly do, and in order for them to repeat or play like they did last year, they have got to do it right here now. Seattle intent on not letting them do that.
Seattle, this is a playoff game for the Seahawks. They knocked off one contender last Monday night. Now they're looking to do it on the road, but they're deep in their own end as they go to Kurt Warner. And Reggie Williams, who's been doing it for 14 years, comes up and makes the big defensive play.
Reggie Williams, the inspirational leader. And it's not only inspiration at this point. He backs it up with a lot of physical activity. Watch Reggie Williams shed blockers. Come in, make a nice form tackle on Kurt Warner and sling him to the ground.
I don't know, Matt. As this game wears on, I get the feeling we could be looking at overtime. But right now, Seattle has the lead, 17-10.
We're getting some snowballs thrown onto the field, and I'm sure that's why referee Bob McElwee is stopping play right now.
A little brisk in the jungle today. There is snow.
Reggie Williams, the councilman, trying to quiet the crowd down a little bit, telling them it's not fair. They're looking for sideline security. Sam White's going down.
People don't throw because...
Yeah, Sam on his way down, he's saying, let me help. Sam White's one of the people that was very upset about the dog pound when they were throwing things. It's flying out down here in the jungle. These fans here are getting a little bit out of control. I don't know where they find the snow to throw the snowball.
Now Sam White is running over to the Seattle side of the field. Perhaps he and Coach Knox are going to tee it up.
No, I doubt
once and for all.
I doubt that. Sam on the
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Those are words that Sam will hear time and time again when he goes into Cleveland years to come.
They don't have to play them again this year, do they, down in Cleveland?
I mean, his feelings and his intent certainly honorable, but I don't know. He said, you don't live in Cleveland, you live in Cincinnati. This they all know.
I don't know if this was... He stopped the crowd from throwing things, but they are so fired up right now.
This is like a playoff game. This is terrific.
The crowd and the team are all fired up.
Clock running, 9:55 to play. Craig from his end zone. Throwing a catch to John L. Williams, but the defense in the person of Leon White. Number 51 is there to make the stop.
I don't know if a coach has ever gone over to the microphone and made an announcement like that, but it certainly worked. In talking to Sam last week, he said he enjoyed the dog pound. He thought it was great for fans to go crazy like that, but when you start throwing things, then it becomes a little bit dangerous. And that's probably why he got very upset when snowballs started to come down on the Seattle Seahawks.
Sam wasn't going to sing the anthem when he grabbed that mic. Third down and 6 for the Seahawks. Craig from the gun. Timing pattern. Brian Blades loses the ball. Eric Thomas goes in with the tying touchdown. There's a penalty marker down. Ricky Dixon made the pop to clean the ball. Eric Thomas made the interception, but there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage. It apparently is against the Seahawks. Penalties negated. Touchdown goes to the Cincinnati Bee, which has stirred this crowd and fired this whole effort. Makes the play that will tie the game if Breach hits the point after. Dixon with the stick. Eric Thomas with the interception and touchdown run.
I want to know, does Sam White get an assist on this turnaround right here? Because after his speech, boy, I'm telling you, everybody was fired up in here. Ricky Dixon, we've seen him play so many times this year down. He is all pro in my book.
A rocket hitter, Jim Bates on the money. Time left, though, for Seattle to come back. 9:39 to play. It's a 17-17 game.
David Craig here trying to find Brian Blades, number 89. And once again, Brian Blades lets this ball get into his shoulder pads. When it gets into his shoulder pads, it pops up. But there's Ricky Dixon right on it. Eric Thomas with a fine catch and a nice run into the end zone. You got to catch that ball out in front of you. Anytime you let it get inside and pop off that shoulder pad, chances are it's going to pop straight up in the air.
Eric Thomas takes it in.
But Ricky Dixon was a man that came in and made that stick. He has impressed me more than any other defensive back in the league this year.
Yeah, Ricky Dixon's a big timer. He was a high number 1. They expected him to be, but he's really playing like it now. The kickoff is hit into the end zone. And Elroy Harris won't bring it out. The Seahawks will go on offense from their 20. Lee Johnson driving that kickoff into the end zone. Now they're starting up after the play as the Bengals jump in. Cooler heads prevailing.
Little chicken fighting.
Joe Kelly, he's a fiery player, an ex-Husky.
Well, he knows that everybody at home out in Washington is watching this game.
Just like we like it, tied up in the fourth quarter. Game on the line with every possession. Here come the Seahawks. Brian Blades to the left. Largent, who set the record today with his 100th career touchdown catch. Wide to the right, to the top of your screen. Craig stands in. Out pattern. Markers down. Penalty marker in the defensive secondary of the Bengals. Lewis Billups was covering Largent. Largent says he was held.
A lot of pushing and shoving.
He certainly was.
I think it might have been Ricky Dixon.
Holding, number 22, defense, 5 yards, automatic first down.
Oh, Eric Thomas out.
Eric Thomas on the call. We'll watch the hold right off the ball. There's Eric Thomas falling down and trying to get a hold of Brian. That's a mugging is what that's called. You can get arrested in New York for doing that. Put those subway cops down there to get people to do that.
So now the Hawks have the ball at their 25-yard line. First down and 10. Game tied 17 all. Warner hit hard. Got ahead for maybe a yard or two. Joe Kelly coming off the block and makes the tackle. McClendon also on the stop.
Those Vikings got one heck of a spurt there. 43 points.
Vikes are going to have a lot to say about, as you know, about this AFC Central. Cincinnati has to play them there Christmas night. They're going to Cleveland to play the Browns before it's over. Second down and 8 for Seattle. 27-yard line. 5-man rush. Out Patton, and Williams drops the ball. Reggie Williams was coming, and he was coming hard, and Williams took a look at him and lost the ball.
Williams on Williams. John L. just not able to hold that ball down as Reggie Williams was right in front of him, as you mentioned, Don.
Jason Buck's playing some game for Cincinnati.
Jason Buck's the guy that they thought they could run at. Evidently somebody must have told him, because he's saying, bring it over here where I am. I like that.
The Bengal fans up and chanting defense. Third down comes up. Craig and the Seahawks need 8 yards to keep it going, to move the markers. And now Craig calls a timeout. The official says the play is dead. He got the timeout called. Craig protesting something.
Barney Bussey was uncovered there. He was right up on the line of scrimmage, and there was no one there to block him. And as Craig looks over, he calls a timeout, which everybody didn't hear, including the center.
What a game, and it's got 8:37 still to be played, maybe more.
NBC Sports coverage of the National Football League is brought to you by Mazda Cars and Trucks. Mazda, it just feels right. By Levi's 505 Jeans. And by Extra Gold Draft, the party time beer with a full tilt taste.
This is Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad back at sold-out Riverfront Stadium. Dave Craig and the Seahawks with a very big play coming up now. It is third down. They need 8. Game is tied, 17 all. 8:37 as you see left to play. Vegas hit 19 of 30 throws for 208 yards, 2 TDs, 1 intercept. Here's a long ball. Largent makes the play. Steve Largent, the Hall of Famer, makes a Hall of Fame play at the 38-yard line of the Bengals. Going up between 2 receivers, a 33-yard gain on 3rd and 8.
And Ricky Dixon, number 29, is playing Largent to break this pattern off. And what Largent does, he keeps going and just follows the ball all the way in. Great possession catch. He has been doing this year after year. This is signature. Should be, well, it's a little extra duty for Dave Craig keeping an eye on the play, but that was signature Steve Largent right there. He has done that to every great cornerback in the league.
You can't forget him out. Everybody with 20/20 hindsight, but in the first quarter, Cincinnati passed up a 23-yard field goal on 4th and 1 and went for it, didn't get there.
I think maybe they had the feeling that in order to win this football game, they got to put 7. They got to try to put touchdowns on the board. Very tough to play it close to the vest early on in the game because it takes away from your confidence a little bit.
And there was also another missed field goal earlier, this by Norm Johnson.
This is the one where he hit that little circle that was just
in the circle
outside the upright. They got a lot of time to make these plays right. Those are some mistakes that they made early on in the game, but we've got a lot of time to play here, Don.
Big plays in this game.
Yeah, Warner with that 33-yard run, Blade 60-yard touchdown pass, and Largent just now with that ever important on 3rd and 8. He catches a 33-yard pass that gives Seattle good field position. And Seattle's offense seems to go like that. They just haven't been able to put into those, 5 yards, 7 yards, 8 yards. They seem to get in a hole and then come up with a big play. Yeah, it's hard to get a bead on what their offense is doing because they're doing all kinds of things and they get 3 bad plays and 2 good ones.
An important factor also, Matt, Seattle just called that timeout. They have just 1 timeout left. The Bengals have their full complement of 3 remaining to be called. 1st and 10 Seahawks. Play fake. Craig in trouble. Buying time. Throwing back near side to the tight end. Travis McNeil takes it downfield to the 23-yard line. So Dave Craig improvising, buying time, back and forth, and he ends up with a 17-yard connection.
Great play here by David Craig. He's constantly looking for him an open receiver. When a quarterback starts to scramble like that, the receiver has to come back to the quarterback. And that's what Travis McNeil does, makes the play, and then gets forward for a nice gain. Great play by a very heady quarterback in David Craig.
John L. takes down the tacklers and gets ahead to the 21-yard line. Well within Norm Johnson range now. Joe Kelly and David Fulcher combined on the tackle for the Bengals.
This Bengal defense, when the pressure has been on, they have risen to the occasion. But Seattle right now putting a little bit more pressure on them. And that's a little bit of pressure on Norm Johnson there, number 9.
They're well within his range now.
A kicker, you talk about a kicker being in a slump. It only takes 1 miss to be in a slump.
Yeah, that's right. And 1 big hit to get out of it. 2nd down and 6. John L. chopped down. He gained 2. The ball was loose on the field, but he was ruled down. Fulcher, that wrecking ball at strong safety again, came up to hit him. 33.
David Craig counseling Ron Mattis on that last play. Now this is in the past Chuck Knox football, where they would take that ball on the ground and pound it right at you. They were very successful at it. This year they haven't been able to do it.
If the Bengals lose today, the odds are against Cincinnati making the playoffs. It'd be 7-7 with Houston and Minnesota coming up. That would not augur well for the defending AFC champions. Right now in this tie game, Seattle's Dave Craig on 3rd and 4. Runs out of trouble, breaks it. He's going to go for the 1st down and more as he's all the way down to the 3-yard line. It's 1st and goal, Seattle. Leo Barker saves a touchdown, if but for the moment.
I mentioned earlier that these 2 quarterbacks are very dangerous runners. David Craig is the type of guy, if he can't find anybody open, he is an excellent open field runner. Here, he just fakes out and takes off running down the field. This was, I mean, to this point in the game, that was the biggest play.
It was a huge one.
Biggest play in the game right there. David Craig just taking off running.
15 yards.
Pushing people out of the way.
Now the Bengals dig in their goal line defense. It's 1st and goal, Seattle. In a tie game. Warner caught, knocked down, little or no gain. Leo Barker, 53, shot the gap and got him. It'll be 2nd down and goal from there. The Seahawks taking as much time off the clock as they can. They'll run it down, try to use up as much as they can. They surely have Norm Johnson ready to put it up and through from almost point-blank field goal range if need be. But they have 2 more downs to try to get it in.
The trick here is no turnover. You don't want to have a fumble or interception in this area.
2nd and goal from the 3. Warner leaping over the top. He got close, but he didn't get in. He got to the 1-yard line. Skip McClendon was on the defensive play along with David Fulcher. 3rd down and goal.
Same play against the same play they ran the first time, except Kurt just tries to fly over the top. They call this the old flyover.
Cincinnati called timeout.
Just to regroup a little bit. They had 3 of them left.
Yeah, they got 2 left now. Seattle down to 1. The ball positioned inside the 1-yard line with 3 minutes and 52 seconds left to play in the game. A game that swung dramatically both ways. Chuck Knox and the Seahawks were down 10-0 in the second quarter. Then rallied to take a 17-10 lead. Then on the defensive play when Eric Thomas picked off a interception and ran it in for a touchdown, it went to a tie score at 17-all. That's how we stand now. As the Bengals huddle, the defensive coaches, Dick LeBeau, the defensive coordinator. Sam Weich knows his season's on the line today.
And in both of these huddles, Sam Weich's huddle and in the little huddle that Chuck Knox just have, I guarantee you they're telling both of their players this is the biggest play of the season right now. Cincinnati not wanting to go behind here, and Seattle needing a touchdown as opposed to a field goal just to feel to be comfortable.
Oilers are comfortably in the lead over Tampa Bay, the divisional leader in the AFC Central. 3rd down and goal. Here's a marker in, and Warner's knocked down. David Fulcher again. What a player.
They tried the very same play, but David Fulcher told me before the game he hasn't gotten a chance to get a real good hit on anybody. He got one right there on Kurt Warner.
Well, it's going to be against Seattle or not because Norm Johnson's coming out.
It looked like they threw the penalty before the play started. Fulcher already 9 tackles today. Fulcher is an all-world safety. Let me be understood on that. Not only is he the largest safety, but he is playing like he's the best.
240 pounds, and he hits with every ounce of it. At the enforcer, it's strong safety.
He asked me, he came over and said, "Do you think I could have played when you were playing?" I said, "Listen, babe, you could have played anytime."
The man on the end of the line was entitled to move. The head linesman blew the whistle at the snap. There will be no play. There is no foul. It's 3rd down.
Mistake by the official.
Big play for Seattle. The Seahawks get 3rd down over again.
Give Seattle a reprieve. Maybe some of that yelling that Chuck Knox did to the referee earlier.
So in effect, what happened by committing a foul, Seattle benefited because their runner was stopped for a loss. But the play didn't count. They ruled there was motion before the play. Mike Stock next to Sam Weich, one of the assistants.
There move a little bit before, and then he reset.
The man on the end of the line is entitled to move.
They might be looking at this for a while.
Yeah, he moved and then reset.
Yeah, he was reset all right.
But also they had a man going in motion. You see the tight end coming across in motion. Watch Andy Heck, number 66. He's moving. So is number 86.
Well, there should at least be a 5-yard penalty, it would seem. There's got to be a penalty. It's not back at the 1-yard line. If it's a penalty, if it is a flag before the ball, there's a 5-yard penalty.
That's exactly what Sam Weich is saying. It should be a 5-yard penalty.
That's what I'm sure Weich is protesting. If it's no play and there was a foul call, there has to be penalty yardage.
The whistle actually had blown before the play started.
He still was in violation. It caused a flag by the movement. Craig swings it out. It's caught for the go-ahead touchdown. Kurt Warner makes the play with 3:51 to go, and Sam Weich is furious. He has every reason to be. They've got to give an explanation to the crowd. They might have, all I can figure them out is that they called encroachment on the defensive lineman of Cincinnati before the snap of the ball. Because it was an offensive penalty, if they did get the play over, they had to call a 5-yard penalty. And now the extra point attempt is ready to be put up by Norm Johnson. With Largent holding, it's good. And with 3:51 to play in the game, the Seattle Seahawks have again taken the lead, this time by a 24-17 count.
Here's the touchdown. Just a little swing pass out to the side to Kurt Warner, who is all alone. And that gives Seattle a 7-point advantage. Now, Andy Heck, number 66 on the end of the line, moves a little bit before the snap, but then he sets up again. So he's allowed to... See, the ball isn't snapped. He's set now. The penalty flag goes up in error.
So that he was eligible. And so that was the official eligible to move. That was the explanation given by the officials to Sam White. And now the kickoff return by Stanford Jennings as he runs it out to the 28-yard line. Esiason, who was so hot with the throwing arm early, has to get hot again now. The Seahawks will take the measure of another playoff contender, as they did Monday night, upsetting Buffalo.
Seahawks playing a fine football game here today.
Which they are.
They came in here loose, and even though they realized they didn't have a chance to go to the playoffs, now mathematically, which is actually no chance.
Boomer coming right out now, goes to James Brooks, who runs it out to the 32-yard line. Seattle playing zone defense with extra defensive backs in the game, looking for the all-out pass attack. Game clock down to 3:30 and running.
Football's a strange game. There are no situations where you can just throw in the towel unless you want to get hurt.
Esiason throws downfield. McGee makes the catch. First down out to the 47-yard line. 15-yard gain on the play for the Bengals and a first down. Kansas City rolls on, goes to 7-6-1 with a very important win over the Packers at Green Bay. The Vikings win again. And they take sole possession in the NFC Central by a game over the Packers. Detroit coming on strong late in the season as the Bears continue to fade. Houston has defeated Tampa Bay by 3. Here's a downfield throw. McGee again. He's inbounds again. Down to the 40-yard line. With razor-like slicing precision, Esiason and McGee take apart the pass defense of Seattle.
When you run the 109-2, the defensive back must give you room. And when that happens, you just turn right, and the ball is right there. The worst thing you can do is try to get up in that guy's face. He runs right by you. Sort of a can't-win situation. The only thing you can do is put pressure on the quarterback. And Seattle not able to do that in this drive.
Esiason and the Bengal pass offense now looking like it did early in the game. And they have to out-pattern. Another connection. This time Ira Hillary is knocked out of bounds by Melvin Jenkins, number 24. But Hillary gets 9 yards, and he stops the clock with 2:54 to play. So when they have to do it, Ahmad, the Bengals are doing it.
Ira Hillary, just a little out ball, and Boomer Esiason, when it counts, is right on target. And they're just marching up and down, marching down this field. It's like a fast break. I talked to Boomer before the game. He said, we are the Lakers of the NFL. Fast break football.
See what they do now in 2nd and 1. They go to the draw play, and Brooks runs ahead and gets the first down. James Brooks, helmet on helmet, gets what he needed. And the Bengals quickly ready to go into alignment without a huddle. Game clock ticking down, 2:41 to play. You see the numbers. Seattle 24, Cincinnati 17. Another out pattern, another connection. This time it's Kendall Smith, and another penalty marker comes in the secondary of the Seahawks. Bengals taking it right down the field on this drive that really their season turns on.
They got a pushing off call on Eddie Brown, I think, as Kendall Smith limping off the field. And he is very important part of this fast break offense, especially with the Bengals not having Mike Martin available to play.
Offensive pass interference, number 81, 10 yards, first down.
And Eddie Brown, 10-yard penalty for offensive pass interference.
Does not come at a good time in this football game. If you look at the right-hand side of your screen, you see Eddie Brown, number 81. He's all tied up there. I don't know who's pushing or holding who.
I think they'll look at that again.
That could have went either way.
It's not a change of possession. They can't look at it. Or a score.
It appeared to me that the defensive back had his arm wrapped around Eddie Brown.
So it is first down and 20 for Esiason and the Bengals. Big rush are coming. Esiason makes the connection to Ira Hillary, and he dives ahead down to the 26-yard line. And that could take us down to the 2-minute warning. The Bengals with 2 timeouts remaining. The Seahawks with 1. But the bottom line is the Seahawks are in the lead 24-17 with 2 minutes left to play. This is Don Criqui with Ahmad Rashad, and the season could very well be on the line for Boomer Esiason, Sam Weich, and the Cincinnati Bengals, the defending AFC champions. They're down to Seattle 24-17, and if they lose this game, they would be down to the Houston Oilers in the AFC Central by 2 games with just 2 to play. 1 against the Oilers. Chuck Knox had his team ready. They looked to be out of it early. They were down 10-0. Then they rallied to take a 17-10 lead. 17 straight points by the Seahawks.
Chuck Knox football teams do not quit. And he has proven that over and over the years. And once again today, he's shown that he can get these guys ready to play.
Stanford Jennings now, Matt, the 4th wide receiver for the Bengals, whose wide receiver count is down because of injuries. It's 2nd and 9. Esiason, quick throw. He makes the connection. Ira Hillary running down inside the 15-yard line. It's a first down for the Bengals. And they might want to take their chances if they to take some time to get it in rather than give the Seahawks a chance to come back and kick a field goal to win it. We could be heading to overtime, but first, the Bengals have to get it in as the Seahawks dig in. Coming with a 4-man rush.
Boomer hot on this drive. 5 for 5, 60 yards.
First and 10 from the 15. He looks. He throws to the end zone. His receiver slipped. McGee would have been open. He had the defense beaten. It'll be 2nd down and 10.
Tim McGee had a chance to be wide open, but on the break, coming off the break, he lost his footing a little bit and just wasn't able to break out because he was wide open.
There's the previous catch now, not part of the last play.
Ira Hillary just reaches up and snatches this ball. This is what I say about not letting it get into your shoulder pads.
2nd down and 10 for the Bengals. On a drive they must make turn into a touchdown. Esiason out pattern. Stanford Jennings. He's down to the 7-yard line as the game clock is down to 1:14 and running. And the Bengals call a timeout. They have 1 left. So it's going to come right down to the final gun, maybe to overtime. Boomer Esiason, the National Football League's most valuable player last season, and they need all his talents now. He's certainly given it to them in this final drive.
He's got Stanford Jennings playing a little bit of wide receiver, but Stanford Jennings is a guy who can play every position. Every halfback, fullback, wide receiver, and Boomer will not hesitate to go to him at any of those positions.
Bengals often like to run the tight end hide here, but we're down to 1:14 to play. Cincinnati trailing by 7. Driving. Here's the handoff. Brooks fights his way down close to the 5. Didn't look like he got there on 3rd down. And another timeout is signaled, an official timeout to spot the ball in the last 2 minutes.
Once again, Sam Weich giving the signal. I'm sure he wants all the big boys in. when you put those muscles up like that. I know what that signal is.
Here's Rodney Holman now, ready to come in.
This is the biggest play of the game right here, 4th and 1, and they have got their big boys up front. Their season hinges on this play.
The season is turning on this play for the Bengals. 4th down and 1. They have to score. Rodney Holman's in the backfield. Play fake. Boomer looks. Nobody open. He's on the run. He throws. It's incomplete. And Seattle takes over the ball and the game. Seattle will win it. 53 seconds to play. A play fake by Esiason, but his throw to the end zone too high.
Here is an excellent play call. Nobody knows where the ball is. Now Boomer looking downfield. Gets run out of the pocket, and he trips a little bit here. Doesn't get a chance to get set up, and just floats his ball a little bit too far because he had Rodney Holman open.
He did indeed.
He didn't get a chance to set his feet. There's Sam Weich looking on.
Dave Craig, 22 for 33 for 258 yards and 3 touchdowns. Boomer, 21 of 42 for 246 and 1 touchdown. Now the Seahawks go into their prevent offense. Prevent losing the ball. They just take the snap, and the clock ticks down to 49 seconds. White signaling for a timeout. The final one. They get it.
Timeout, Cincinnati.
And now it's time for the Most Valuable Player Award, sponsored by Budweiser. Today's MVP is David Craig, quarterback for the Seattle Seahawks. Budweiser will make a contribution to the United Way on behalf of all the MVPs selected in today's game. The executive producer of NBC Sports is Terry O'Neill. Producer of today's game, Terry Ewert. The director of the game and the coordinating producer of NFL football, Ted Nathanson. Associate Director Ray Benassi. Thanks to NBC statistician Elliot Kalb and to spotters Doug Kidd and John Garrett. As Boomer Esiason and the Bengals have come up short on the all-important drive that their season turned down, and it turned the wrong way, as Seattle will upset a second straight playoff contender. The Bills are starting to fade fast. They were just beaten by New Orleans today, 22-19. Paul Brown, the general manager and the man who runs the Bengals, in the press box. So the AFC champions very much in jeopardy now. Their playoff hopes still very much alive. Not nearly as much as they'd come out of this game. Houston in good position to win the division.
Cincinnati certainly had a chance to win this game, Don. They drove it right down there, and it came down to a 4th and 1. Just weren't able to convert. Sam White very upset.
Going over, congratulating Chuck Knox, and certainly Knox and his Seahawks are to be congratulated. Playing for pride, they showed a lot of it the last 2 times out, and they're going to decide who goes to the playoffs, even if they don't get there themselves. We'll be back. This is Don Craigie with Ahmad Rashad back at Riverfront Stadium, where the Seahawks have just defeated the Bengals 24-17. As the Seahawks hold off a final drive. Seattle defense coming up. Boomer Esiason really kind of tripped, as you pointed out, Ahmad, in that 4th down play, and then he went to the end zone with a high throw to Rodney Holman. Incomplete, and the Seahawks took over the ball and the game, running out the clock. We'll be back with the Budweiser NFL report in a moment.